Aida Ansari, Nirupamanandi, Jayant, Kumar Pillai. I'm fantastic. How are you all doing today? Chinmay, Kirti, Aida Ansari, Nirupamanandi, Jayant, Kumar Pillai. Don't put it like that. ये minimize कर उसके उस तरफ लाओ. थोड़ा इसे इस तरफ खींचो. That is what I'm telling ना. ये YouTube का जो screen है, you just minimize it slightly, reduce the size, and that paid batches की chat जो है वो right side पे लाओ. Yeah. Yeah, all right. Perfect. All right, people. 1 second, it's not scrolling by itself. Okay. Good evening, everyone. First time attending CA class. All right, Bhaskar, Sanchi, Mehboob, Srishtija, Daisy, Devi, Varupula. All right. So I hope the audio and video is clear. The topics that we'll be taking today, we'll start straight away with science and tech topics. Cure for brain tumor, dual use satellites, evolution of snakes, T cells and HIV, psychedelic drugs, Gaganyaan life support system, sperm whales communication, DNA evolution, Swan wolf effect, fungi. Then we have under health, PCOS to PMOS, Ebola virus, economics, we have rupee depreciation. So those are some of the topics. I've kept it very concise this time. The reason only being that we need to actually discuss a lot of science and tech topics. So it's quite heavyweight. So that is the reason. And before we continue, just a minute here, people. Yeah, the link to the PDF for today's class is as usual attached in the description section. Those of you, not those of you, everybody, please download it and keep it. All right. This is my first class, Anju. All right. Just download the PDF so that you don't have to take any separate notes. What I'm discussing, just try to understand it. Starting with Mission Drishti. Now, Mission Drishti is an Earth observation satellite developed by a Bengaluru-based startup called Galaxy, which was launched about Falcon 9 by SpaceX from Vandenberg, California. So this you can clearly see as an example of private sector entering space. All right. The satellite weighs 190 kilograms, not that heavy. It's India's largest privately developed Earth observation satellite. Largest so far. Private. That's the other highlight of it. Mission Drishti integrates electro-optical and synthetic aperture radar sensors on a single operational platform. What are electro-optical sensors? They capture images using visible and infrared light. Visible and infrared light simply means white light, VIBGYOR, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. And what do you mean by infrared rays? Anything that has heat emits infrared rays. I've told you this in my earlier class also. Any body that has heat. So even my body is emitting infrared rays. All the electrical equipments here, electric and electronic equipments here, they are all emitting what? Infrared rays. Then what about the synthetic aperture radar? It uses radar signals to generate images independent of light and weather conditions. What do you mean by Radar signals. Radar signals simply means using radio waves. You detect and you also find the range of it. That is, I can basically make out the shape and size of whatever object the radio waves goes and hits and comes back based on how fast it went and hit and based on how the waves have been reflected back. I send radio waves, it strikes something, it's reflected back. Based on the frequency, the amplitude, the wavelength, the time period, etc., I will be able to make out what did I hit. The advantage of having the synthetic aperture radar is that even if it is daytime, nighttime, cloudy weather, rainy weather, whatever it is, it will give you the correct reading. It is not at all affected by any weather related phenomenon. Whereas infrared or even for that matter your visible rays on a cloudy day, on a rainy day, during stormy weather conditions, it may not be able to give you a correct reading. The fact that you have infrared, visible and radar integrated together in one single system makes this a pretty good satellite. Not only for private commercial purposes, but even it can be used for military or for security purposes also. The integration enables all weather and day and night imaging capabilities. The system enables continuous and reliable data acquisition across varying environmental conditions. If you want to do land survey, for all those purposes, you can use this type of a satellite. Clear, people? All right, moving on. Cure for brain tumor. PD-1 inhibitors, how immunotherapy can open the brain and the risks and opportunity it brings. Immune checkpoint inhibitors work by blocking signals that normally prevent immune cells from attacking cancer cells. So some inhibitors are there. Inhibitors simply means they stop. So some inhibitors are there in our body which actually stops our immune cells from attacking the cancer cells. The blood-brain barrier, a tightly packed protective layer of cells that controls what substances can enter the brain from the bloodstream. BBB. So it is there over here. So our brain, it is protected well. But from the bloodstream, what should enter the brain? A barrier is there. Obviously, it should be there, right? Because we are eating, if you look at it, why body has evolved such a mechanism is, it is very much possible that not whatever we consume, all are not healthy. So harmful substances shouldn't directly go to the brain. Got the point here? It should be something really serious, something like cyanide or acid, etc., where it will affect your brain. Acid also, I'm not so sure whether it will affect the brain immediately. The first casualties are your mouth, your throat, your lungs, everything. But things like cyanide and all, the moment you take it, it can literally stop even your brain, heart, entire system from running. So there is a barrier here. Anti-PD-1 therapy can weaken the BBB. Means what? Now I want to stop this PD-1. Because what is this PD-1 inhibitor doing? It is not allowing my immune cells to attack the cells, brain cells, which are showing tumor behavior, cancerous behavior. So what I should do? I should take it out or reduce its behavior. But if I have to do that, I will have to break this barrier here. Not break, but obviously loosen its strength. So you have to weaken the BBB. Advantage is more immune cells will enter the brain. It will lead to increased movement of substances. Increased movement of substances means almost all the components from the blood, whatever is there present inside the blood, that can enter. As you really know, whatever we eat, like I told you earlier, whatever you eat, goes into the stomach, from there it goes to the large intestine, small intestine, large intestine, etc. Once it enters the large intestine, we have thin needle-like structures called villi, V-I-L-I. They take out the last bit of nutrients, etc., which directly enters into the bloodstream. Got the point? So you drink water, water will go. You take junk food, what will go then? Unsaturated fat, saturated fat, trans fats, all this will enter, which can even enter your brain because the barrier has been reduced. This is how a normal BBB will look. Nothing is entering it. This is how a weakened BBB will look, where greater entry is possible. So PD-1 inhibitors are cancer immunotherapy drugs that help immune cells attack tumors more effectively. These drugs belong to a broader group called immune checkpoint inhibitors. Around 20% of patients saw worsening of disease. So this is just a research that is being conducted. So when they tried it on 100 people, imagine 20% of their disease, it actually worsened because you removed the barrier. Obviously, every treatment is not foolproof. It will depend upon each human body, how that human body reacts to it. Clear? Okay, is there any specific method to follow these classes? Okay, I'll just briefly interrupt the class here. See, there is in the YouTube channel, PW, only IAS, English YouTube channel. In the description section, there has been a link to the PDF. Today's content has been given there. Click on that. Link is given in the description. If you go to PW only IAS live channel, YouTube English channel, click on live and you'll be able to access the same class. So in there, the description section, the link to the PDF has been given. Click on that and download the PDF. And whatever I am discussing, keep marking it. Got the point here? Similarly, you will find the link. Now, this topic actually is from last week. We couldn't take it because of paucity of time. So the detailed description of it is available in last week's PDF. So if you go to last class, Saturday's class, you will be able to get that PDF from there also. Keep downloading it. Don't have to note down anything. Just keep marking or highlighting it in your mobile phone or in your laptop or in your iPad or whatever. That is what you're going to do. Clear? So that is the point. The rest of it is still in research phase, so nothing much to discuss there. You can just read it. Securing space, securing future. Dual use satellites. Dual use satellites means what? See, like we saw initially, mission Drishti. What was the significance of it? It is an all-weather satellite that can work in any condition, in any environment. So there is no restrictions for it because it has a synthetic aperture radar. It works on visible rays and infrared rays. So all the three components are there. You can use it for anything that you want. Like I told you, you can even not only civilian applications, you can even use it for military applications, security related applications. And that is what you call a dual use satellite. Outrightly, it may look very innocent, very harmless, that it is meant for civilian purposes. But most satellites are not like that. They actually have dual purposes. And the interesting thing is, now what is the future if you really ask me? The future is that you disrupt the satellite service. You don't have to kill people or you don't have to actually go and put a missile into a critical infrastructure. None of that is needed. All you have to do is just take down a few satellites or jam the satellites. Need not even destroy it, because destroying it means you'll have to send a missile. Instead, what do? You jam the satellite, hack the satellite. Now that you can do from any part of the world where nobody will be able to find out who exactly did it, who exactly disrupted the services. So when everything is getting connected to the internet, that is one of the major drawback what you will have. Once you take it out, the communication system, literally everything goes for a toss. Imagine for 24 to 48 or 72 hours, there is no internet in the country. There is no internet. Only landlines will work. Mobile phones are not working. Internet is not working. Imagine that scenario. So literally people will feel very agitated because no communication, no emails, nothing you'll be able to send. And that chaos is enough to maybe topple a government, create unrest, increase the rate of crime, create civil unrest. All of that is possible. So it is very important that satellite communication, along with the fact that critical infrastructure is secured. Clear? Any doubts so far, people? General points only. In this particular article, again, nothing hardcore is given where we have to like, oh my god, ye padna padega, aisa, nothing is there. So this is just to understand. Evolution of snakes. Snakes evolved around 160 million years ago from ancient lizard ancestors. The earliest snakes probably lived on land and may have also spent time underground in sandy environments. Used underground burrows for shelter and hunting, adapted to diverse environments worldwide, became one of the most successful reptile groups. Can live on land, underground, in trees, as well as in oceans. That is a reality. In whichever part of the world you go, probably with the exception of Antarctica, as well as the Arctic, you will find snakes everywhere. You will find it. And that too different breeds, almost most of them being very lethal and very poisonous. Then, so initially it is believed that they had legs, lost their legs as long and embless body, moved efficiently through soil, grass and narrow spaces, added hundreds of extra vertebrae, making their bodies long and flexible. Longer bodies help them move faster, climb better, burrow more efficiently and swim more effectively. The shape. Longer body. That is the reason why they can move in through anywhere. Anywhere they want, they can move it. Developed highly flexible skulls and soft tissue connections. That is one of the most important thing that you need to understand here. See, our jaw, it is limited. That's it. I can only open my mouth that much. Not only me, almost all human beings can only open their mouth that much. Why? Because our tissues and muscles here, they are all hard. They only stretch up to a certain point, but not for a snake. A snake can actually open its mouth how much ever it wants. Stretch it up, open it up. Those who have been watching Geographic Channel, etc., there they would have seen it. Snake can literally eat maybe an entire cow. I am talking about the anaconda. All right. Upper jaw bones can move independently to swallow very large prey whole. Evolutionary timeline, lizard ancestors. These could have been the early snakes, like with very long bodies and legs, but later on they lost the legs and then led to the modern snakes. Eat a wide variety of animals from insects and frogs to mammals and even other snakes. Yeah, snakes eat other snakes. Notorious in that regard is our dear king cobra. Some kill prey by constriction while others use venom. Constriction means it wraps you around like python, anaconda and starts squeezing you. The more you start breathing, the more you get scared, etc. As the snake can feel your heartbeat because it's still beating, the snake will be able to feel it. So it will tighten it further and further and further till your heartbeat stops. Basically, they are crushing you, your rib cage, etc. to the point where your ribs will crack, pierce the lungs, and then you die. I mean, obviously, anacondas attacking human beings are like very rare events. Only in the movies, anacondas tend to move that fast. Otherwise, they are damn slow. If you walk also, if an anaconda is slithering towards you, coming towards you, even if you walk slowly, casually, as if you are walking in a park also, you can still outrun a anaconda. Clear? I am gonna quit RBI grade B job for UPSC. I can't manage time. Very good. Later, if you don't clear, you will know how people will insult you. Experience it yourself. Some snakes lay eggs while others give birth to live young. This was actually a previous year question in UPSC. Some species can reproduce even without males. That is also possible. Asexual reproduction is possible in snakes. Amazing joint design. Different parts of the upper mouth move independently to pull prey into the throat. This allows snakes to swallow prey much larger than their head. Mouth opens very wide. Upper jaw moves upwards and grips the prey. Prey is pulled in and swallowed whole. Snake fossils are rare because the skeletons of the snake, the bones are very soft actually. It is not like those hard bones. In fact, some people have told the snake, I mean, don't try it, okay. If you actually take a snake and start even just simply circling it or even whip it on the ground, it will die instantaneously because its bones are like very fragile. One whack on the wall, it will die immediately. But having said that, don't ever try it because it's a snake. Fossil evidence and whole genome sequencing help scientists understand snake evolution more clearly. Modern snakes represent more than 100 million years of evolution, adaptation, and diversification. What if small snake attack? What is the prevention, sir? Prevention depends upon what snake has bitten you. That is the only solution here. Depends upon the snake. All right. Moving further. T cells and HIV. See, this is actually I have given in detail what is it in the content. Last week's it is. So in last week's PDF it is there. In detail I have given it. Again, it is the same story using body's immunity, which is T cells, to fight against HIV, cancer, brain tumor. If you ask me what is the breakthrough, not really a breakthrough, but yeah, at least last 2-3 years this topic is there. Breakthrough that has happened in medical sciences. So whatever cancer treatment or any disease treatment, when you generally talk about, always you will have one or the other side effect associated with it. For example, vaccination is notorious in that regard. COVID-19 vaccine did cause side effects at least for 10 to 15% of the population. The best treatment what science is considering right now is to use body's own immunity against cancer or HIV or even brain tumor. So that is what medical science is trying to do, because the advantage will be what? It is my own immunity. So when I don't have to take any external medicine or treatment for that. So my body already is comfortable, or my body is already familiar with my immune cells. So no external intervention is required here, which may cause a side effect. So you can read the content from last week's PDF about this. Psychedelic drugs. All content related UPSC related queries, preparation related queries, please keep it aside till the end of the class. Class will wind up at 9:30 or maybe even earlier than that. After that, you may ask. Right now, current affairs is being taught. So please sit and listen. And those of you who are going on telling you're my fan, I don't want anybody to be my fan. Just sit and study, get into your own, make your life, and please move on. Even if you don't remember my name, remember my face, you don't do Sashtang Guruji and all, I'll be more than happy. My job is only to show a direction. Walk in that path, go into your, get a life, move on. That's my only job here. Be a good student. Don't be a fan and all. How psychedelic changes brain communication, reorganizing connections across the entire brain. So psychedelic drugs are there, which actually what it does is it can change how the brain communicates. So what they have basically found out is brain has now various parts meant for various purposes. Say for example, they generally say your right side of your brain is where you use all creativity. That is when you have to tell lies, you use the right side of your brain. When you have to retrieve any information, objective information, data, etc., you may use the left side of your brain. And initial information, whatever that you read, etc., it goes towards your cerebrum. Repeated reading only will lead to what? It will go to your deeper memory, cerebellum. So there is a clear division of departments, you can say, inside the brain. But again, like I have always told you, one common thing that I have always found about this generation, Gen Z, when I interact with them, etc., is they are lonely. They don't have friends, true friends, what we call true friends in the sense somebody who will come with you for a long walk in the night just to have one cup of tea. Won't touch their phone till that entire walk is over. Not even bothered about Instagram में अभी कौन क्या हुआ, Facebook में क्या हुआ, क्या किसी ने accept किया, क्या followers increase हुआ. None of that. That person is just happy to be in your company with just a cup of tea, which is missing. Parental support is there for everything, but yet there is an ice or a glass ceiling between or a glass wall between the parent and the child. As a result of which, many of the topics cannot be discussed openly with the parents. So goes without saying, why am I saying this? Goes without saying, most of the time when I talk to students, I understand they have reached out to me not because they have some doubt which, oh my God, even God will not be able to solve. Nothing like that. A simple Google would have told them what they should do. But still they reach out. Why? Because somewhere they want somebody to talk to them. They are almost in an isolated world. In the real world, they are isolated. Digital world, they are connected with 1,000 or 10,000 followers or whatever. So, slowly, the social isolation is the beginning point for depression. Gen Z, again, are one set of students, or Gen Z is one generation where they are all going for counseling these days. They all have their psychiatrists, their own personal numbers, they have it because, I need to go to my counselor for therapy. I'm not telling it is a bad thing. But the $1 million question is, at such a young age, why are they going for therapy? Because that is the reason. The reason is simple. Virtually, they are filled with friends. In real life, they don't have a proper friend whom they can depend on, or a sibling, or even parents for that matter. I'm not telling everybody's like this, but most of the case is genuinely this. So, how to solve that depression problem is the question now. One way what they have found out is if psychedelic drugs is given, different parts of the brain will start communicating together. Lower brain regions mainly process raw sensory information such as sight and sound. Higher brain regions involved in memory, abstract thinking, and the sense of self. Normal communication. These regions communicate through controlled pathways and filters. The brain works in a hierarchical way, separate and organized. That is, clearly everything is arranged because you keep hearing things, you keep seeing things, you keep smelling things, plus you keep thinking also. So, if proper segregation was not there inside the human brain, the bombardment of information would have been enough to fry the brain. Your brain would have got fried and we all would have died long time ago. Evolution has made it possible where our brain literally segregates everything. Okay, ye yahan jayega, ye information yahan jayega. Under the influence of psychedelics, filters and barriers inside the brain are weakened. So no filters will be there then. Sensory and thinking regions will exchange information more freely and directly. Sensory region and the thinking region. That means lower brain region and upper brain region will almost start sharing everything freely. New communication pathways form between regions that usually interact only indirectly. The brain becomes more flexible and acts like a highly interconnected network which will enhance the communication. What this means, the boundary between self and external world becomes less distinct. Many people feel a sense of ego dissolution or unity with the world. You'll suddenly lose the sense of self. The sense of self to go down means you lose all sense of ego, all sense of shame. You accept who you are. That's the bottom line. New perspectives and emotional responses may become easier. Temporary breakdown of strict brain organization may lose a repetitive negative thinking pattern. Because now that thing is gone. Oh, people will talk this about me. Oh, people will say that about me. That whole thing itself is gone. Because it's like now more free area to communicate. This is not a cure. Long-term benefits depend on understanding and integration. Some brain changes may be partly due to effects on blood flow and serotonin system. Serotonin is the happy hormone. So bottom line is that psychedelic drugs actually loosens the barrier, etc. and makes the communication more holistic inside the brain, makes you lose the sense of self, can reduce the negative perception what you have about yourself. This can also happen, so this is by taking drugs. This can also happen through serotonin induced systems. Serotonin induced systems means you kept a target. I will wake up at 5 a.m. and you woke up at 5 a.m. You feel happy. Yeah, I woke up. Yes. That 2 seconds, serotonin gets released. You won't feel depression. You exercised. Yes, 100 push-ups. Yes, serotonin releases again. 10-15 seconds. You ate very clean. You stood away from all the junk. Again, serotonin is released. For each accomplishment that you have in a day, serotonin gets released, which actually help you keep the negative thoughts away. Got the logic here? So those are the two ways you can do it, either by taking drugs or by naturally producing serotonin inside your body. Why? Even if you finish a target, okay, today I will finish 10 chapters of polity. You completed it. You will again release serotonin. Got the logic, people? For what condition? Depression, Sanchi. I am not getting it. If this is good or bad. See, it is good in the way that it can be used as a treatment. But in the long run, you cannot keep giving psychedelic drugs because it can also become very addictive. So the point here is that this is only like a temporary measure for those people, who keeps on telling, I am very scared. I don't want to go out. There are people like that, people with social anxiety. They don't even want to step outside their room for the simple reason that they are worried. What will the world think of them? That's the point. First of all, you are not so great to the point where others will be thinking about you 24/7. Got the point? Stop actually thinking that you're so important for other people that they'll be thinking about you from morning till evening. Always keep it in mind. Including me. That is what I keep telling myself also, because that I cracked that that code probably some close to 10 years ago. I understood. It is just your fallacy that oh ये लोग मेरे बारे में ऐसे सोचेंगे, वो लोग ऐसे सोचेंगे. Actually, nobody is soaching about you. Nobody is thinking about you. Why? Because everybody is dealing with the crap that is going on in their own life. You will maximum be a topic of discussion for 5 minutes in a wedding or for 5 minutes at a funeral. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं. Because once people start, let us say, criticizing somebody, I'm talking about in your family setup. They will first talk about you, then they will move on to the next person, then the next person, then the next person. That's it. So for that 5 minute, you are a topic. Why are you worried for that? $1 million question. You cannot control it. Their behavior is not going to change. What you can only control is your body, your timetable, your schedule. That's it. Side effect, it can be addictive. That is the point here. It can be very, very addictive. Got it? PCOS to PMOS. Now, this is something which most girls will be familiar with, and these days this is increasing, I don't know, exponentially I would call it. At least I have a few friends where almost all of them are struggling with this PCOS. So what is it? PCOS to PMOS, we will see. From PCOS to PMOS, that is PCOS has been renamed as PMOS. Yeah. Polycystic ovarian syndrome has been renamed as polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome. This polycystic ovarian syndrome, when you say, it is basically to do with cyst formation in the ovary. Now, why is cyst forming? They will say it could be hereditary, genetics, this, that, etc. Clearly, nobody has any clue about it. But one thing is for sure, for the women whom I have seen this, not all, but at least a few, on the women whom I have seen this, One major reason is overweight. The next thing is obviously sedentary lifestyle. You're not sweating, you're in for trouble. See, it is understandable, right? You are sitting, so all the stress starts building up. So that stress ultimately, cortisol that we call, cortisol, the stress hormone that we call, it is bound to accumulate in one or the other part of the body. And the ovary that we call inside a woman, that is like one of the most softest tissues, etc., are there inside it. It is not something which is like rough and tough. So there it will start forming small cysts over there. So far, why did they do the name changes? Because so far the focus has only been on what? Ovary cyst formation. That's it. They have missed out on the endocrine and metabolic components. Endocrine system means what? The system that releases your hormones. Metabolic system means what? Your digestion process. That means whatever you are eating. So, adding to it, sedentary lifestyle is a very low fiber diet. D. Alcohol intake. Even if you call yourself a social drinker, you're bound to get this. There are some things which are not meant for a woman's body. One component in that is alcohol. Alcohol, first of all, nobody should take. Even a guy also shouldn't take. Because there is nothing great about it. A social drinking, occasional drinking is good for the health. No, it is not at all good for the health. Wine also not good for the health. Bottom line is that because it will destroy all the good bacteria that is there in your intestine. That's the bottom line. You're working out so I can have alcohol? No. Absolute no. When you're working out, you're not supposed to have alcohol, all the more. Because your body's entire focus is on processing protein. You take alcohol, your body is in a doubtful state. Okay, should I process protein or should I, slow down his nervous system? Like, what should I do? Should I burn the fat or should I process this alcohol now? PCOS term was inaccurate, focused mainly on ovarian cysts and overlooked endocrine and metabolic components. Old terminology led to delayed diagnosis, fragmented treatment, and limitations in research and policy development. PMOS expands the diagnostic focus beyond reproductive abnormalities to include endocrine and metabolic dysfunctions. Syndrome is estimated to affect approximately 170 million women during their reproductive years. Conceiving a child will become very difficult if you are having this, what was earlier known as PCOS, or currently it is known as PMOS. So PMOS will include endocrine and metabolic dysfunction. It takes a broader view of women's health, improves diagnostic accuracy and treatment, affects overall health and well-being, not just ovarian function. Little bit earlier I came back from doctor for this reason. Arey yaar. Stress is definitely there. Nobody is denying it. So that is the reason why I told you the main thing that everybody needs to understand is sedentary lifestyle leads to stress, and that will cause problems. That is guaranteed. So in men also, doesn't it create issue? Absolutely yes, but men obviously it is not about, like I told you earlier also, muscle and bone density in a man is different from that of a female. So in men, how does it come out is the testosterone goes for a toss. Baby manufacturing kaput. No more baby production. Again, if I have female friends who are dealing with PMOS, the number of male friends that I know who are struggling to have a kid, very high. Some common elements what you will see as the testosterone is coming down is B, belly fat, C, loss of hair. You go bald, you develop a tummy. Tummy starts popping out. It is body's signal that you are taking too much of stress and fat is getting deposited. नहीं मेरा दादाजी used to be also fat but he is having lot of hair. दादाजी का जमाना, water, food, air quality are all different from what we are having today. Our food actually lacks nutrition and has more chemicals inside it. And in all those men, again, one of the common factor what I have again seen is their exercise is pathetic. They don't exercise. Can't do even a single push-up, even if their life dependent on it. And they end up spending at least anywhere between. Recently also one of my friend had spent up 35 lakhs for treatment to become a father. Nothing. 35 lakhs gone. I mean, they didn't spend it in a single go, in installments. He has been taking treatment for the last, I don't know, 10 years at least now. No result. So that is the bottom line. So exercise is not something, oh my God, exercise karna hai. Exercise should be a part of your daily routine. Because the moment you start breathing, your oxygen intake starts increasing, your heartbeat starts increasing, stress starts going down, testosterone starts increasing up. Or in the case of women, progesterone, estrogen starts pumping up. That is why you feel good. Nobody has ever committed suicide after hitting the gym. You come out of the gym sweating from head to toe, you feel good about yourself. Adoption. When you become a parent, you will understand. This adoption thing, I don't know. Now that I'm a father myself, I cannot comment on it. But many of them, they don't prefer it. There is something called like, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones, my child. That is their right. That feeling. That you won't get with an adopted child, whatever one may say. You ultimately feel that towards your own blood. It's as simple as that. So, diabetes, pre-diabetes, insulin resistance, and other metabolic dysfunction associated steatotic liver disease. Treatment approaches include lifestyle modifications and in selected cases, medication-based interventions. That is the only solution for this, PMOS. And yeah, as usual, I will tell you one more thing also, because one of the main reason for this is your low protein intake. That is the other reason. General only, nothing great. Clear, people? Exercise important for every girl. Ahmad, keep your question reserved towards the end of the class. Everybody should work out. In India, that is a problem. In India, people, the samosa eating pot-bellied uncle will actually say, exercise nahi karne ka. Exercise bad hai, protein बहुत bad hai. And he'll be eating his fifth samosa with half the chutney on his tummy and another half coming out dripping from his mouth. That is the worst part here. So all the more reason again, last week only I came across a case where a guy had underwent brain stroke. Yeah, brain stroke. That is also a thing. Your brain just stops functioning and you'll go into paralysis. 24 hours, 48 hours maximum. Within that, the person will die. So that woman showed me, this is my elder brother, etc. So I was like, okay. So from the body and the way his face was, I thought somebody maybe in the 50, 56 years, that range. Later, when I asked, how old is he? She said 38, my age. And I was flabbergasted because that guy didn't look anything like 38. Okay, if I keep me as my benchmark here, from no angle he looked like 38. I straight away asked them two questions because from his body and his face, I understood he is into alcohol, he is into cigarette. I just straight away asked, he drinks and smokes? She said, he drinks very badly and he smokes every day. Two children he has left behind. One is 3-year-old, the other is 5-year-old. A 38-year, because 30 to 40 now is that crucial age point where you will get a stroke if you are leading an unhealthy lifestyle. 30 to 40. 30 to 40, if you cross, that means you are healthy, you are fit, you are fine. But otherwise, right now, the thing is 30 to 40, one issue you will have. Either you will have a high case of sugar, hypertension, or like I told you, a stroke or whatever will come. And sometimes that can be very lethal. That is the bottom line. So all of you who are thinking, "Arey, thoda pet hai, chalega, chalega," that is only in your 20s. Wait till you cross 25, 26, etc. Without probably the only growth that you're going to see in your life is your pet increasing parallelly. Malayaliyana. As girls have menopause and they can't reproduce, so similar to men. Menopause is different. Men can reproduce if they are fit and fine. Even at the age of 70, they can have a baby. I look like 25, 27. I look that old. Oh, then I should exercise more then. Environmental control and life support system, basically inside Gaganyaan. For short duration mission, all supplies are carried from Earth. Waste is stored on board and disposed after return. Waste as in human waste. For long duration mission, waste is recycled into useful resources such as breathable air and clean water. Carbon dioxide is naturally removed through photosynthesis and ocean absorption. In space, astronauts' exhalation increases CO2 level. Air revitalization system is used to take out the carbon dioxide and generate clean air. Oxygen supply is there. Carbon dioxide is removed using lithium hydroxide canisters. Activated charcoal inside absorbs odors from the cabin air. Spent canisters are replaced every 20 to 24 hours. This is the system available. Yeah, I am sure the chats are like, seriously, people. See, I will tell you again and again, people, don't unnecessarily develop bad karma. Don't irritate people. Countless students are there who are dependent on this current affairs. Be it SSC, CGL, be it NDA. To all them, I keep telling the same thing only. Current affairs is current affairs. Sit and attend it. Any which way you are supposed to be reading a newspaper. For NDA, you will be having GD, you will be having questions on interview about issues. So you need to know it. When it comes to SSC, CGL, there is no idea which question is going to come from current affairs. Maybe that one question, what I am teaching here, maybe that will come. So many students, when they are dependent on this, don't use the chat section like some, "Arey, tera number kya hai? Tera naam kya hai?" Don't do that. We behave like a man for the love of God. Temperature and humidity control. Gaganyaan crew module will maintain a temperature of 20 to 26 degrees Celsius. Astronauts' metabolic body heat generates 100 to 150 watts per crew member. Onboard electronics and devices will generate heat continuously. Heat exchangers are kept inside so as to reduce the temperature. Crew's breath and sweat are the main sources of humidity. Pressure is also controlled. Water is managed. Water delivery, waste management, fire safety. All this. Detailed points are mentioned there. Just go through it. What systems are used inside Gaganyaan crew module. All right. See, after 60 or after 70, that is not the point here. It all comes down to the health ultimately. The woman is healthy. The man is also healthy. I think women can 60. I'm doubtful, but yeah, rare cases have been there where women have got pregnant at 60 also. So can't help it. Sperm whales communication. So how sperm whales communicate? They actually communicate in coda patterns, like in small clicks. Oh, 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 oh. I know, sounds very pathetic, but close to it. That is how they actually communicate. Just like how we have vowels, A, E, I, O, U, syllables, consonants, same way. Same way they communicate. But what are they communicating? Nobody has been able to find out. In other words, sperm whales are just like social creatures they are. You cannot keep them inside an aquarium. They need their family. They need to communicate. They need to be with their own species. Only then they can survive. If they get isolated or if they get stranded, they will get lost. Sometimes we hear stories, right? Whale got beached, whale came to the beach, etc. That is because they somehow drifted away from their group. That's what happens. DNA's evolution. Skeletons preserve DNA, which is the genetic material carrying biological instructions inherited from parents. Because our DNA, my DNA is from, one set is from my parents' genes basically. One set is from my mother, the other is from my father. X and Y put together. DNA sequencing means determining the exact order of chemical units inside. The exact order of chemical units simply means adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, ATGC. This ATGC sequencing, ATTAGCCG, ATTA, ATTA, like that, the coding will keep going. What is the coding inside me and what is the coding inside you will be slightly different. It will vary. And that is the reason why our genetic traits vary. The way I am walking, the way you are walking will be different. The way I am looking and the way you are looking will be different. But if I am going to compare it with my own family, I know for a fact that, okay, my certain or most of my physical appearances is coming from my father. His ears, his shape of his head, even the walking style to a certain extent, I mirror the way my father is walking. My brothers on the other side, it is more to do with my mother's side of genetics. So it is different. But ultimately, we can see some common elements there. So from the sequencing, actually, many things we can understand. Many things means which DNA has got any issue, which is that particular aspect of the DNA that has led to a certain disease, or which part of the DNA has helped me be at least 5 foot 10 inch tall, or which part of the DNA has ensured that my metabolism rate is high. All these things you will understand from a simple genetic information called your DNA sequencing. Correct? By comparing ancient DNA with modern DNA, scientists can track how certain gene variants became more or less common across thousands of years. Different versions of the same gene are called variants. Gene frequency means how common a particular genetic variant is within a population. Scientists used statistical analysis and computer simulations to determine whether these changes occurred randomly or because certain variants provided biological advantages. That is the gene variation that is there. For example, now it is clearly proven that the Neanderthals, their women, etc., were actually 6 foot tall, or 7 feet tall, weighing around 80-85 kilo, and who could run very fast. So over the period of time, what has happened is we have become smaller as a population and less stronger as a population. Why? Because we are no more running, we are no more jumping, we are no more running away from wild animals. We have settled down. From agriculture to industries to service sector, it has only made man, okay, how to make more money with less effort. Whereas ancient man, when we talk about, he was more into what, okay, today if I don't run, either I'll become somebody's food. I have to run so that I get my food. So physical exertion was the reality there. So over the period of time, things have changed. The results suggested that many changes were caused by natural selection. Scientists distinguish this from genetic drift, which is a random change in gene frequencies due to chance. Some changes that happens in the genetic sequencing just because of chance there. Chance simply means it can be anything. Maybe some crossbreeding would have happened. That is two different sets of population bred together, or two different, and then it changed the gene pool. They also separated it from population migration, where gene frequencies change because new groups move into the area. Scientists estimated the age of, okay. Now, so scientists were basically trying to find out the current DNA pattern, compare the current DNA pattern with the old DNA pattern. So how did they do that? Scientists estimated the age of skeletons using carbon dating. What is carbon dating? Carbon dating works by measuring C14, a radioactive form of carbon in fossils called C14 it is called. Normally normal carbon is C12. Its isotope is C14. So carbon-14 forms in the atmosphere when cosmic rays strike nitrogen atoms. Carbon-14 behaves chemically like normal carbon and enters plants through carbon dioxide. Animals and humans then absorb it by eating plants or other animals. So cosmic rays, that is from the sun, etc. Cosmic rays hits nitrogen, which forms C14. This is absorbed by plants during photosynthesis. And that plant is consumed by herbivorous. From the herbivorous to the carnivorous. And carnivorous, when they die, obviously, their body will go to the soil where so the C14 will keep on entering their body. Once they are dead, the body starts releasing the C14. Back to what? Nitrogen. So how much amount of C14 has been converted to nitrogen? There is a time period for this. Based on that, I'll be able to calculate how old the fossil is. Because it is naturally available. That is why carbon is used. ReBZR. This is happening. No other compound is there. And this is again radioactive. But this radioactivity is not so dangerous. Getting the point here. So I can easily find out the age of a human body, dead body, by trying to find out what level of C14 is remaining in the body. From that I can know. So if this many, from the quantity, this much quantity is remaining means the body is these many years old. Easily I can find it out. While alive, organisms maintain a stable amount of C14 because they continuously exchange carbon with the environment. After death, carbon intake stops and C14 gradually decays back into nitrogen. Radioactive decay means unstable atoms spontaneously break down over time. C14 has a half-life of 5,730 years. That means, half-life means time required for half of a radioactive substance to decay. So half of C14 will decay in 5,730 years. So I can easily calculate the age based on that. Some people na shamelessness to what extent I don't know. Shaurya Tiwari, even if you're a real person, I'm asking, you seriously think with this sort of buttering, I'm going to fall flat? Wow, he'll become an IPS officer and come in front of me. Probably I will give you one tight slap first for spamming my class like this. That is what I will do first. IPS or no IPS. Told you multiple times, don't spam the chat section, man. This is not some girl you are trying to impress or, irritate or something. Students are studying. You don't want to study, don't study. Get lost. By measuring the remaining amount of C14 relative to normal carbon, scientists can estimate how long ago the organism died. A mass spectrometer measures the relative amounts of different carbon isotopes. That is again another instrument. Electron spin resonance is considered more efficient than carbon dating, sir. Carbon is the prime element in C14. We can find 70,000 equal metals, sir. Correct. It's human evolution. All right. Not denying it, but electron spinning, etc., requires more critical equipments. This technology, if you talk about, this is like very, very old. Like I remember when I was in 6th standard or something, 6th standard or 7th standard, reading about it. So, at least 28 or more than 30, 40 years old. And it is easy. It is not so radioactive, etc. Electron level and all, you need not actually sit and calculate. All you need to find out is how much amount of C14 is remaining. Clear? Each level of C14 is constant in each living body. It is not constant. It is based on it's not that it is a constant value or something. You see how much C14 from a sample, you take it out and see how much C14 is there. In one particular sample, what amount of C14 is present in it. On that basis, you will calculate it. The study examined ABO blood group. Humans possess blood types AB, AB, A, B, AB or O, depending on which ABO gene variants they inherit. These blood groups evolved very early and are also found in other great apes. The frequency of the B blood group variant increased among Western Eurasians during the last 6,000 years, while A variant decreased. Different blood group variants can influence how the immune system interacts with pathogens. The study also examined a variant of the HLA-DQB1 gene associated with celiac disease. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder in which the immune system attacks the small intestine after exposure to gluten. So I'm gluten intolerant. And you say, some people will say I'm gluten intolerant. They basically means they cannot have wheat, maida products, etc. Chapati, all that they cannot have. And this is seen generally among some sections of the population in the European region. An autoimmune disorder occurs when the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own tissues. Humans began selecting gene variants linked to lighter skin and pigmented hair around 8,000 years ago. The preference for lighter skin and pigmented hair. Scientists think this may relate to vitamin D production in regions receiving less sunlight. Vitamin D is produced in the skin using ultraviolet light from the sun. Another reason why some of you are feeling depressed, not feeling any interest to study, etc., etc. That is the reason for that. You're not getting exposed to the sunlight. So even if the ideal time for that is actually, people will say it is the early morning sun, etc. Actually, it is 11 to 1. I know it is peak summer. You're asking us to step outside that time? No. 11 to 1, hands, if it is exposed for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, take your scooter or cycle or something, do a small round and come back. Where you can feel a little wind on your face, etc. Try doing that and come back. Not that you will walk in the sun or something. Wear a cap or something to cover your head. But that is the right time because sun is very closer. Sun is very closer. Ultraviolet rays will be hitting the earth that time. So that time if you step out and you get a little bit of sunlight, that is good for the body. Lifetime of ancient bones getting from the seafood. Yes, still under research. This could help government track diseases. Human Genome Project is already on. It has already started, Sanchi. Rebs are that level. Gluten in Kannada. Gluten in Kannada, there is no Kannada. I don't know the Kannada word for it. Very honestly speaking. This is the spelling. Gluten. So some people are intolerant to it. So different studies again with regard to different variants. CCR5 variant, which will actually help in handling HIV-1 infection. Even educational attainment, intelligence test performance, healthy lifestyle and walking speed, all these are to do with your genetic traits. All of that. I'm not telling don't blame everything on genes now, because let me tell you, your personality ultimately is a function of your hereditary and your environment. Yes, 50% does comes from your hereditary, but environment also matters. And in that environment, one more thing matters is, which is personal choice. What choices do you make in your life? That matters a lot. Maida products are harmful. There is no doubt about it. Maida products are harmful. So the more you avoid it, the better. In fact, rice is the best thing. Rice is the best. People will say, no, you should eat chapati, but that chapati, etc., it should be rich in fiber. Only then it is useful. Rice, the people say why it is bad, because in India we eat rice of this quantity. It is the ulta actually. You need to eat this much vegetables with this little rice. That is how it is supposed to be eaten. Or this much of chicken, this much of rice. Because you need carbohydrates. Again, genetics associated with smoking behavior. Study highlights that genes linked to modern traits may originally have evolved for entirely different reasons in ancient environment. So whatever genes we have developed today, it is not, it has already evolved in the past due to XYZ reasons. What are those reasons, etc.? Scientists have not been able to find. South Asians possesses ancestry from multiple ancient populations, including Iranian Neolithic farmers, Western steppe herders, ancient South Indian ancestors, East and Southeast Asian ancestors, and Australasian related groups. So we are talking about Middle East, Europe, South Indian, yes, East and Southeast Asia, even Australia. That much time I used to expose in sun while going for college classes. Obviously you're going to have good amount of vitamin D. Bottom line is that. But yeah, vitamin D to be processed in your body, you should take fat rich milk. The milk which contains fat in it, that is where the vitamin D is there. Fat rich milk, when you drink it, that is from where your intestine will extract the vitamin D out of it. Then exposure to sun is there. Vitamin D production happens inside your body. This is the science behind it. But that also thanks to the doctors of today. They may say, oh my God, fat is so dangerous, saturated fat, oh my God, they keep telling it. Fat is not the danger. The danger is sugar. Sugar is the danger. Sugar is the real villain. Salt is the villain. Again, which sugar, which salt again? Not the sugar which you're adding into your tea or your coffee. No, that is not the villain. Not the salt which your mom is adding into her dishes. That's not the villain. The salt and the sugar which is present inside processed food. Those are the villains. Because they are not the natural salt or natural sugar what we normally see. They don't come naturally. They are already enriched with other added chemicals. Like stubborn chemicals are there which gets stuck to your body, that is not even digested out. You can't even excrete it out. That creates havoc. So you would have seen this nonsense again, slim milk, all that. That slim milk basically means the fat has been removed out of it and it won't even taste good. That's the bottom line. Clear? Correct. Almond milk. Wow, you're very rich then. Asthma, one thing is, I know this may sound a little bizarre again. Try breathing exercises. And asthma, so far, whatever I have seen, if it is something like hereditary, like my sister is not, my elder sister, she is not very hefty or something, she's slim. But then she has the slight breathing issues are there. It generally comes because of pollen. It's like an allergic reaction what she has. She has certain breathing trouble, so she uses inhaler. Not frequently, very rarely. But most of the other people that I have seen who are having this asthma issues, it will be directly correlated with overweight. So first thing first is weight reduction. See, I'm telling you 99.9% of your health related issues get solved with protein intake and exercise. And yes, water, dietary fiber. Yes, ghee is good. Natural milk is good. And if, sir, someone is lactose intolerant, Harshita, we are all actually lactose intolerant. Indians by default are lactose intolerant, but because we have been drinking it from a small age, our body has got used to it. That is the bottom line. So try drinking it in some other form. That is what I would say, as chai or coffee or whatever. Or at least try to have paneer, maybe butter, some other substitute. But you need to consume vitamin D. Otherwise, the next option is to go for egg. The yellow inside the egg, it is a very rich source of vitamin D. I have no idea about NDA coaching. Swan-Wolf effect. When solar winds meet local magnetic shield. So what is this solar wind? See, sun actually keeps on emitting high energy radiation, plasma radiation, which contains high energy electrons, protons, etc. Now, these high energy radiations, when they come out, like a burst when they come out, you call it solar storm. So, those radiations will come, but then it can affect a planet. But in Earth, we don't see that effect happening. Why? Because inside Earth, we have what? In the core of the Earth, we have molten magma, which is constantly moving and which contains nickel and iron. Which, because of that movement of that magma, we have a magnetic field. And that magnetic field is what stands like a barrier here, protecting the Earth as well as the satellites which are placed here. Otherwise, the solar storm is literally enough to fry the circuits of all the satellites. What is protecting these satellites is the magnetic field, which is there inside the Earth. Clear? As particles are sequestered and radioactive, some regions are depleted of charged particles. Local density decreases. That is the Swan-Wolf effect. So what happens is, So these charged particles will come. They will trace the path of the magnetic field. So in this region, you will have more density of charged particles. In the other regions, you won't have. That difference in density, that is the Swan-Wolf effect. And if you know this region in the northern and the southern region, they both bring that phenomenon. Northern lights, southern lights. Bright greenish, bluish, purplish color in the sky. You can see it in Norway. You can also see it from Antarctic region. That is this effect. Complan पीना सही होता है sir. Complan, Boost, Bonvita, Horlicks are nothing but sugar drinks. It only contains sugar and chemicals in it. They don't have even 1% of a component which is good for the human body. That's the reality. Fungi. Any doubts so far, people? How this magnetic field can be generated without electricity inside a metal? You cannot generate it like that. So, fungi are living organisms that include molds, yeasts, and mushrooms. Solar winds are harmful, but like I told you, what is protecting our Earth from that solar winds is Earth's magnetic field. They act like the barrier there. Earth's magnetic field is not there. In no time, all the satellites will get destroyed, and whatever little bit of oxygen atmosphere, whatever we have, even that also will be blown out. Because these are high temperature, high energy plasma radiations, highly charged. Any electronic circuit will get fried in no time. No, it doesn't. No tilting and all. Tilting and all has got nothing to do with it. Please revisit it again. Who is it? Bharati Priya. Revisit the topic again. I cannot keep repeating everything because for the simple reason that time is running out. If I save on time and I finish whatever I have come here with, then we will revisit the topic. Fungi are living organisms that includes mold, yeasts, and mushrooms. Many fungi normally exist in soil, water, air, plants, animals, and even on the human body. Some fungi are harmless, while others can cause infections called mycosis. All right. Infections caused by fungi, you call it mycosis. Mycosis can affect the skin, eyes, lungs, brain, blood, and even the reproductive organs. Fungi grow especially well in hot and humid environment because moisture and warmth support their reproduction and survival. Fungal infection. I mean, most of you should be very familiar with it because we are living in a tropical climate. Fungus and bacteria, two components which will thrive really, really well. Clear? Magnetic field is created from convectional forces. Convectional forces. Movement of the magma, hot magma which is present inside the core of the earth. That movement happens because of convection. Movement creates magnetic field. You can say that way. Again, now next one, Ranjana Srivastav. Keep spamming, keep spamming, keep spamming. This makes tropical countries more vulnerable to fungal diseases than colder temperature regions because obvious na, colder temperature, fungus, etc. won't survive. Fungal infections are becoming a major global health problem. Why? Because everywhere, even including Europe, etc., what is happening? there is temperature increase. Global warming is the reason. As a result of which, now Europe, America, they are also witnessing bacterial and fungal infections on the rise. Many fungal infections initially resemble bacterial infections. Always that confusion is there. Even doctors also do that. For example, first exposure of fungal infection starts with skin infections. Especially if you are in a hostel, PG, etc. It is quite natural. Or even, for example, I don't know about girls again, whether girls will exchange their tops, jeans pant, etc. But in men's hostel, shirts are exchanged. Shirt, jeans, those things are easily exchanged. भाई तो कल what is it? I'm meeting my girlfriend. वो तेरा वाला वो वाला shirt है ना, वो मुझे चाहिए. That all those things happens inside a men's hostel, where sometimes they won't even bother. So most of the men again don't have the habit of wearing an inner vest. So on the shirt, they just wear the shirt directly on their body, where the sweat gets accumulated, and that wouldn't have dried properly. The next guy will wear the shirt as it is without even bothering to wash it. And that is how the first time they get the exposure to fungal infection. Doctors often prescribe antibacterial drugs first because bacterial infections are more commonly suspected. If antifungal treatment is delayed, fungi can spread deeper into the tissues and become much harder to treat. That is the reason why when you get a fungal infection, especially on the skin, these days whatever ointment is there, earlier, you used to have specific antibacterial ointment separate, antifungal ointment separate. But these days, if you see, you have both combined in one, antifungal and antibacteria ointment. So that both are targeted. Correct? Fungi are eukaryotic organisms. Eukaryotic cells contain a nucleus and complex internal structures. In other words, they don't have a proper cell membrane. Human cells are also eukaryotic. Because fungal cells resemble human cells biologically, antifungal drugs can accidentally damage human tissues as well. That problem does not arise in a bacterial cell because bacterial cells are prokaryotic. This makes designing safe antifungal medicines more difficult than designing antibacterial drugs. Bacteria are prokaryotes, which are much simpler and biologically different from human cells. Biological difference allows antibiotics to target bacteria more easily without harming humans as much. Fungi reproduce using spores, like small, how do I call it? So this each filament what you see here, when it breaks open, spores, and through that spores it can spread very easily, air, water, any form. Spores are tiny reproductive structures that can spread through air, water or surfaces. Different fungal species produce spores with different shapes, colors and sizes. Microbiologists identify fungi by studying these spore characteristics under microscope. However, this process requires specialized expertise and can take a very long time. So studying about it is not easy. Some fungi also fail to produce spores in laboratory cultures, making identification even harder. So what do? They grow the fungus on culture media in laboratories. Culture media means you take a sample of the fungus and you allow it to reproduce or replicate so that you have quite a huge quantity. When you have larger quantity, it is easy to analyze it, it is easy to examine it. If fungi grows specifically from the patient sample area, the infection is confirmed. If fungal growth appears elsewhere on the plate, contamination may have occurred. That is basically, you took the sample size, sample from the patient, and you put it in a petri dish and you allowed it to multiply. So if it is only inside this dish that you spotted the fungus, that means it's confirmed. Okay, this infection is fungal. Now sometimes what will happen is, Not only in the dish, you will find samples of the fungus in other areas. Why? Because the dish is contaminated now. Contaminated means maybe some bacteria or something was there, the fungus affected the bacteria and then it started spreading around. It'll easily spread. That is the point about it. It'll easily spread. So you need to control it. Some fungal pathogens are opportunistic infections. What do you mean by opportunistic infection? This was experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic. So COVID-19 pandemic, when people were under viral attack, what happened? Their immunity came down. At that point of time, during the COVID-19, mucormycosis became widely known in India. Mucormycosis is caused by molds, commonly called black fungus. So this especially affected the people in their nasal, lung area, etc. Black fungus, why? Because obviously black in color. Mainly affects people with weakened immune system or uncontrolled diabetes. The fungus can invade tissues of the nose, eyes, brains, and even lungs. Fungal diseases affecting the lungs are also misdiagnosed. Technologies used to identify fungus, MALDI of mass spectrometry. Other fungal infections are aspergillosis and histoplasmosis. Aspergillosis is caused by Aspergillus mold, which commonly affect the lungs and sinuses. Histoplasmosis is caused by inhaling fungal spores present in soil contaminated with bird or bat dropping. Water. Mass spectrometry identifies substances by measuring the masses of their molecules. Mass spectrometry, this is the second time we are seeing this same word. Yeah. Each organism produces, yeah. So fungi, I know, too big article, too much of information also. We'll sum it up very quickly for you. So fungal infection can happen in India very easily. Why? Tropical climate, humidity, temperature, perfect it is 30 to 35 degrees Celsius and humid, we are a humid region. But fungal infection can be mistaken for a bacterial infection because symptoms are almost the same and always it is misdiagnosed. As a result of which, treatment for fungal infections are often delayed. It can affect your skin, it can affect your lungs, it can affect deeper tissues, it can affect any part of your body. Bottom line is that. Now, harmless, more or less lethal infections, if you ask, it is the skin infection, which basically happens again through sweat, where water is there, cloth has not dried properly, from that it will start and later it can spread around. Now, the problem with treating a fungal infection is that fungal cells, human cells, both are eukaryotes. Similarities are there. So, sometimes if you give heavy medicine to treat fungal infection, it can cause damages to human cells also. This problem doesn't arise when it comes to bacterial cells because bacterial cells are prokaryotes. Advantage being that because it is distinct from the human cell, when you give a antibiotic, only the human cell is targeted there. Sorry, the bacterial cells are targeted there. Clear? Now, some fungal infection, how does the fungal infection spread? That is through spores, like tiny breakage from the tiny filaments are there. When they break open and they become small particles, they can spread easily through air, water, human contact, touch, body, fluids, everything. So that is how it is. But again, analyzing it and trying to find out which fungus it is, etc., it is never easy. It is a very long, drawn out process. Now, very recently, what they have found out is, okay, from the proteins, we can find out which fungal infection it is. That is what we are going to see next. Each organism produces a unique protein signature which can be compared with existing database for identification. This method can identify fungi within about 30 minutes. However, it struggles to identify newly emerging fungal species not yet included in database. Technology is also extremely expensive. PCR based tests are another diagnostic method. PCR stands for polymerase chain reaction. PCR works by making millions of copies of the specific DNA sequence so they can be detected and analyzed. All these are micro components. So what you do is you allow it to multiply, create a huge size of it, then analyze it and then find out which fungus it is. Fungal PCR testing is again harder because fungal cells possess tough cell walls. This you can just read through these portions. You can read through it. All right. Coming to a public health emergency, which is Ebola virus. One by one, we will take it down because it is in news repeatedly. Ebola outbreak has been reported in Democratic Republic of the Congo and Uganda. World Health Organization declared the latest Ebola outbreak in DRC and Uganda a public health emergency of international concern. So you would have seen this PHEIC, Public Health Emergency of International Concern, on May 16th. As of May 16th, 246 suspected cases and 80 suspected deaths were reported in DRC's Ituri province. Please mark it in your atlas. Ituri. DRC, Ituri. Along with 8 laboratory confirmed cases. Cases were also confirmed in Kinshasa in DRC and Kampala in Uganda. Again, mark it up. Note the point here. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus stated that the outbreak does not currently meet the criteria of a pandemic emergency, but expressed concern over the speed and scale of spread into major urban centers and across porous borders. India's Union Health Ministry issued airport and port screening guidelines for travelers arriving from or transiting through DRC, Uganda, and South Sudan. DRC, Uganda, South Sudan, mark it in your atlas along with their capital cities. Clear? The Bundi Bugyo virus strain. The current outbreak is caused by the Bundi Bugyo virus strain. Naming of any virus, if you generally see, it is named after the place or region of its origin. Keep it in mind always. An exception is the coronavirus because China did not allow it to be called as Xinjiang virus or the China virus. China exerted immense amount of pressure on World Health Organization. China never wanted that because throughout history, then it will be always remembered, the China virus or the Xinjiang virus. Only person who had the guts to actually call COVID virus as the Xinjiang virus was Donald Trump. Other than that, no other leader of the state ever had the guts enough to call it the virus for what it was. So Ebola virus, you call it, even that also is Zika virus. So all these viruses, if you see, it is all named after the place of its origin because that is the convention, that is the practice. You name the virus from the place where it originated, either a river or that region or that place, whatever it is. That is how the naming is always done. Bundi Bugyo virus has caused only 2 previous outbreaks, all within the Congo River Basin region. The virus was first identified in 2007 by the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention Special Pathogen Branch. Officials in DRC stated that the current Bundi Bugyo strain has no approved vaccine and no specific treatment. Mortality rate in Bundi Bugyo outbreak may exceed 30%, and some officials estimate the lethality rates can reach 50%. In other words, if 100 people get that virus, 30 to 50 will definitely die. That range. Most approved Ebola vaccines and treatments target the Zaire Ebola virus. Zaire again is the name of a place. Zaire Ebola virus strain rather than the Bundi Bugyo or Sudan strains. Ebola virus again multiple strains are there. You have the Zaire strain, Bundi Bugyo strain, then the Sudan strain. Got it? What is Ebola? Ebola is a zoonotic disease. Zoonotic disease means it is coming from animals, caused by viruses belonging to the Ortho Ebola virus genus of the Filoviridae family. Fruit bats of the Pteropodidae family are considered the likely natural host of the virus. Of the 6 Ortho Ebola virus species identified so far, 3 are known to cause major outbreaks. These include the Zaire strain causing Ebola virus disease, the Sudan strain causing the Sudan virus disease, and the Bundi Bugyo strain causing Bundi Bugyo virus disease. First Ebola outbreak was identified in 1976, following outbreaks caused by the Sudan strain in present-day South Sudan and DRC. Major outbreaks later occurred in Uganda during 2001, West Africa during 2013-16, DRC and Uganda during 2018-20, and Uganda again in 25. The West African outbreak between 2013 and 16 remains the deadliest Ebola outbreak recorded. The outbreak caused more than 28,000 cases and over 11,000 deaths across Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and neighboring countries. Some cases during that outbreak were also reported in the US and Europe through infected travelers and healthcare workers. Average fatality rate for Ebola is around 50%, although previous outbreaks have shown fatality rates ranging from 25% to 90%. Current affairs, like I keep telling you, it keeps recycling and coming out again and again. As you can see from the years, these were topics which I had studied during my preparation days. And once again, it is back in action. And one of the favorite questions when it comes to diseases, as far as UPSC is concerned, is sexual transmission. So let us see. Transmission of Ebola virus. Virus can spread from infected animals to humans through contact with blood, secretions, organs, or bodily fluids of infected animals found ill or dead. Human to human transmission occurs through direct contact with infected bodily fluids such as blood, saliva, sweat, tears, vomit, feces, breast milk, and contaminated surfaces. Got the logic here? Pangolin, that is not the carrier here. Knowing the genetic material of the virus also counts, as they are RNA virus or DNA virus. Okay. So, Santosh S4110. Do you even read the notification that comes from the UPSC? What are the do's and don'ts? You're only going to carry your pen and water bottle to the exam hall. Some people will carry even chocolate, etc. But I would advise don't carry anything. Eat your food and go. Proper meals and go. Have your breakfast on time. Have a cup of coffee or tea or whatever, and then go to the exam. 2 hours, what hunger are you going to feel? What cash and bike key you want to keep? One bag will be, carry your bag or something. Some common area will be there where you can leave your bag. That's it. Inside the hall, only your water bottle, your ID, your admit card, one ID proof, 2 pens. That's all that is allowed. And reach the exam center at least 20 minutes before the stipulated time. Not 20 minutes, sorry. The hall you are supposed to enter 20 minutes before the exam. Be in the center 1 hour before the exam. If the exam is at 9:30, you should be in the center by 8:30. Yep, can't read one notification and you people will be signing the fate of a district in another 2-3 years. God bless the district. Transmission can also occur through contact with dead bodies during burial. Healthcare workers and family members caring for infected individuals face the highest risk of infection. People do not transmit Ebola before symptoms develop, but remain infectious as long as the virus remains in the blood. That is the crazy part here. So a person could be literally carrying Ebola virus inside them, but they will not transmit it till the symptoms start showing out. Only when the symptoms start showing out, the virus will start spreading. Urban outbreaks are more difficult to control because cities increase opportunities for transmission, complicate contact tracing, and place pressure on healthcare systems. Ebola transmission still depends mainly on close contact with infected bodily fluids, contaminated materials, unsafe healthcare practices, or unsafe burials. Ebola is therefore fundamentally different from airborne respiratory viruses such as influenza or SARS-CoV-2. We are preparing for UPSC, but why all these topics are like we are preparing for NEET exam? Anju, if it is in the newspaper, I have to take it. And these are all topics which have appeared in the science section in the Hindu. And if you feel, why are we studying all these topics? Because this is all just Ashabata NEET. That is only because you have never checked out the question paper of UPSC Prelims and the GS3 paper of UPSC Mains. Once you check it out, you will understand. And all these questions here, any point can come. Even a geography question can come from this article. Even a science question can come from this article. Incubation period for Ebola ranges from 2 to 21 days. Symptoms begin suddenly and include, as usual, fever, fatigue, malaise, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat. Later symptoms may include vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, rash, kidney impairment, liver dysfunction, confusion, irritability, and aggression. Bleeding can occur internally or externally, although it is less common and usually appears later in the disease. Later means final stages of this disease is you will start bleeding through every opening that is there in the human body. Whatever openings are there, that is through your nose, there is an opening here in your eyes, ears, mouth, and downwards, whichever openings are there, through that you will bleed and you will die. That is why that is the most fearful aspect of this disease. With the SARS-CoV virus, we know it was breathlessness. You feel this breathlessness, you feel as if somebody is sitting on your chest. You feel a weight on your chest. When that also, like not being able to breathe, is like again a dangerous situation, I would call it. But nothing will beat this. In fact, I remember 2013, 16, etc. The messages used to come, WhatsApp messages, etc. that used to be on the lines of, this is it, world is going to end. Better everybody don't do any more sins. Now feel remorse for the sins that you have committed, because this is the brutal way by which human race is going to get wiped out, etc., etc. they used to say. But no, interestingly enough, it is more or less concentrated in Africa. Beyond that, it is not spreading. Clear? That's why we call it as Gen Z, sir. What? Oof, I don't know, pa. Gen Z or whatever Z you are. The simple thing is called reading. Read. Because if you are not able to even read and understand what this exam is about, what sort of questions are going to be asked, what are the topics that we need to be handling, I will pray for your soul. Diagnosis is difficult because early Ebola symptoms resemble malaria, typhoid, meningitis, and other viral fevers. As usual, because viral infection means the first thing that you're going to get is what? Fever, fatigue, etc., etc. Vaccines and treatment challenges. This is actually FYI only. Why? Because it is a name of a private company which has developed the vaccine, but only for a certain variant. Not for the latest variant, that Bundi virus, not for that. The old virus for Zaire, it is there. Ervebo vaccine only for the Zaire strain. Zabdeno, Wabia also targets the Zaire strain. That's it. The other viruses to develop Vaccines against Marburg virus, Sudan Ebola virus, and the Bundi Bugyo virus. Research is ongoing right now. Supportive care, general points. Again, general points. General. Any doubts here, people? Not yet. Don't make unnecessary comments. He is irritated, I believe. It is not about irritation. It is just the lack of seriousness. I don't know what to say for that. I mean, it's okay. I am not new to this. Some people learn from others' mistakes. Some people learn by listening from elders. Some people want to experience the mistake themselves. So let them experience it. Any which way, I am not so cruel enough where I will tell 4 or 5 years later, I told you that day, you should have listened to me, analyze the question paper. I won't do that. 4 or 5 years later, I always get the same message. Sir, 5 attempts over. I'm your student. I never did the question paper. I never did that. I never did this. Now I don't know what to do. Didn't clear a single prelims. What should I do now, sir? I am almost feeling like committing suicide. My parents have stopped talking to me. I keep getting that. What will I say? What can I say? Oh, it's okay. I don't get irritated anymore. Any doubts here, people? All right. Now moving on to our next topic, which is rupee depreciation. Why rupee is going on depreciating? It has almost hit now 97 per dollar. Rising oil prices, imported inflation, speculative foreign institutional investment outflow, expectations of higher foreign interest rate. Rising oil prices, that you know, correct? Crude oil prices are increasing. So obviously we have to pay more dollar. So if you keep paying more dollar payments are more, demand for dollar increases, demand for rupee decreases. Demand for rupee decreases, automatically rupee will depreciate, lose its value with respect to dollar. This we have seen. Another is imported inflation risk. What do you mean by imported inflation risk? Because rupee value is going on depreciating. Whatever you are purchasing from outside, whatever you purchase, be it gold, coal, crude oil, electronics, any other import, they are all costly. Machine part you buy from outside, costly. Fertilizer you buy, natural gas you buy, anything that you are buying from outside, it will become costly. So that cost, when it comes, that cost is passed on to whom? Domestic consumer. Like now again, petrol and diesel prices have again increased for the third time. Correct. That's the point here. I'll do one thing. This is better. YouTube community only wants some 2 seconds of fame. Why should I increase my blood pressure? I'll look at my paid batch and I'll take it for them. Anyway, rupee depreciation is a weekly topic like us. It also comes in class every week. Correct. So, first 2 points, I hope it is understood. Correct. Costly, it will lead to domestic consumer will have to pay the high price. Whatever you buy from outside. Third point, speculative foreign institutional investment outflow. Speculative. What do you mean by speculative? So the speculation, let us say, if this situation continues, $1 will hit 100 rupees. I mean, common sense, right? Not a big thing. Anybody can predict it now. Array, it is going to hit 100. Before June 30th, it will hit 100. Anybody can predict it. Correct? But what if I go push the prediction even further and I say $1 will hit 120 rupees? Or for ease of calculation, what I will do is, let me make it a little more dangerous. 150 rupees by December 31st. I know that will be huge. That will be crazy. Economy will go for a toss. But let's see. So if $1 reaches 100, okay, there are 100 rupees per share of a company X in India, or not X, I'll name it as I. Okay, 100 per share. So if I am buying, that means as per this maths, it is $1 per share. Correct? $1 per share it is. Now, same company, its share value is not at all increasing because share market is not showing much growth, much revenue potential, etc. Let us say even in December also, it is the same 100 rupees per share. But what is in December? What is the value? $1 has become 150. That means I need to pay less. Correct? That means for $2, I will easily get what? Around 3 shares, 100 rupees per share. 100 into 3 is 300. $1 is 150. So $2 I will get what? 3 shares I will get in December. Whereas in June, maybe I will only get what? I'll have to pay $3 for 3 shares. But in December, I only have to pay $2. What does it mean? If rupee keeps devaluing, depreciating, I need not buy the shares now. I'll buy it later. Correct? As of now, we can clearly see the Strait of Hormuz issue is not going to end that easily because, like I've told million times, an egoistic, megalomaniac, pedophile is the president of USA. For him, only his ego matters more than anything. Cuba has already gone into darkness, and this guy is least bothered. So everybody is guaranteed on one thing, that this issue is not going to resolve by itself in the near future. So if rupee keeps on depreciating, it is better for me, if I'm a foreign investor, it is better for me to invest in Indian share market or stock market later. Why will I invest now? Whatever investment, existing investment is also there, I'm going to pull it out. I will do it later. Because it will be cheaper for me to invest later than now. That is speculation. Because I don't know what may happen in December. But speculatively, rupee will crash further. So why should I invest in the share market now? Whatever existing investment is there, let me pull it out. And I've always told you, as long as Currency is coming in through exports, through FDI, through FII, through remittance, through foreign loans from IMF or World Bank or Asian Development Bank or Asian Investment Infrastructure Bank. All this currency, foreign currency is coming in. All of this will lead to what? All of that will help the rupee to appreciate. But if you are talking about for imports, you have to pay in dollars. FDI, we have signed it on paper, but it has not materialized on the ground. So FDI investments are not effectively increasing. FII inflow is there, but more than the inflow, you have FII outflow. That is, with the speed with which money is coming in, it is going out in double or triple. And that generally happens when foreign investors feel that more than India, there are other better options. Remittances, they start to reduce. Remittances are less. Why? Already there are many Indians who have started coming back, especially in the Middle East region. They have started coming back because of the uncertainty that is surrounding there. Plus, people are losing their job. Now, recently again, Trump has come with some new visa policy again, which will further see more and more people returning back to India. So, remittances will reduce. Foreign loans, well, that one thing, fine. That we are still taking, that is okay. That department, we don't find much issues. But even then, right now in the current scenario, it will be better not to take foreign loan. Why? Foreign loans, when you take, you have to pay interest in what? Interest payments, you have to do it in dollars. And when rupee is depreciating and you're making the payments in dollars, it will further bring the value of rupee down. It's bound to happen. Any doubts? There was a new deal of Russia with oil which is supposed to reduce the price. It will only reduce the price to a certain extent, not much. Because already the international prices have reached such high levels that the discounted price, even if we take it also, the consumption will go up. Because see, why I will tell you the consumption will go up. Already people have started stocking petrol and diesel. Speculative. Because they are expecting the future price of petrol and diesel to be so high. People are buying extra petrol, extra diesel and they are storing it in their home. They are already started doing it. Hoarding. HOARDING. They have already started doing it. So the consumption has gone up. Consumption going up, even if the price is low, but the demand is high. What will happen? Price also will eventually climb up. So international prices are over here. Russia may give us discount over here. That is not going to fetch us anything. Clear? Absolutely. Any doubt so far? All right. So that was the third point. Next is what? Expectation of higher foreign interest rate. Higher foreign interest rate. Why higher foreign interest rate? See, everywhere now what is happening is dollar demand is going up. Correct? So I should ensure that this demand, when I start pumping more money, let us say if I keep the interest rate very low, will people take less loan or will people take more loan? Obviously, people will take more loan, which can easily lead to a situation of inflation. If I keep what? Interest rate low. Ulta, to ensure that dollar demand is still high, what I do? I increase the interest rate. This will ensure people won't take that much of loans, and that way I can ensure that inflation is within a tolerance limit. This tolerance limit will vary from country to country. Inflation, what is considered to be the ideal bandwidth. In India, it is basically between 2 to 6%. This should be the inflation range. Anything above 6% is bad news. Anything below 2% is also bad, because less than 2% means you are having a situation of deflation. No market demand in the economy. Things are slowing down absolutely. Anything above 6% means you are looking at overheating of the economy. It can lead to hyperinflation, runaway inflation, etc. Even create situations like stagflation, high inflation coupled with unemployment. All that you can expect this side. So it should be between this two sweet spot, 2 to 6%. This is the tolerance band for India. Till here, any doubt? All right. So these are the 4 factors. So that the reason why I have given it in the diagram also, it is for that reason. I hope that diagram in the PDF, it is a little more elongated. So 4 things that can affect the value of rupee. Then how current account and capital flows affect the rupee. Current account deficit occurs when imports exceeds exports, raising the demand for foreign currency. If sufficient foreign capital inflows finance this deficit, the rupee remains stable. If capital inflows are inadequate, excess foreign exchange demand leads to rupee depreciation. A weaker rupee makes imports costlier and exports cheaper, potentially reducing imports and boosting exports. This is something which we have seen already, which means, so we have imports more than exports. As a result of which we have CAD, which is called current account deficit. Now, ideally, a current account deficit is supposed to lead to what? Rupee depreciation. And when rupee depreciates, what it actually does is, it encourages exports and discourages imports. So, ideally, it should what? Lead to a stable rupee. Then why it is not happening in India? Because if it actually has to increase exports, what are the conditions required? Your cost of production should be less. You should be very great at technology, and you should have a solid manufacturing base. India's cost of production itself, if you see, it is not so great, because the land laws, the labor laws, etc., etc., if you put it up together, the cost of production compared to China or compared to any other Southeast Asian economy, cost of production is very high in our country. Technologically, we are not superior. We don't have a good manufacturing base. So automatically what happens is our exports will not be able to dominate like how you expect when currency depreciates. And coming to our imports, yes, when rupee depreciates, our imports are supposed to be less. But what are the products that we import? Like I told you, as usual, gold, coal, crude oil, natural gas. Yes, I know electronics is also there. But electronics, let us say, okay, some electronics we are manufacturing right now in India. So somewhere, okay, somewhere we are compensating, even if we agree to it also, Indians cannot stop buying any of these. And all these prices, if you really see, there's no Indian government has any control over it. The prices of all these commodities are decided based on international events, where India is only a silent spectator. So whether it is BJP, whether it is Congress, whether it is Aam Aadmi Party or your cockroach Janata Party also for that matter, there is nothing that you can do about this. 80, close to 90% gold is imported. Around 50 to 60% of coal is imported. Crude oil around 85 to 90% is imported. Natural gas not to that level, but still we do have an import component involved even in that also. I think around somewhere around 30 to 40% natural gas is also imported. This is the reality. Any doubts here? Moving on. A crisis that forced reforms. We did face a very bad situation back in the 1991. And what was that? See, during the Cold War era, we followed a non-alignment policy. But even though we called ourselves a non-alignment policy, we were never truly non-aligned. We were actually aligned with Soviet Russia. It is almost like how the current generation of actors will say, no, we are just best friends. We are just good friends, never revealing their relationship. And India was also maintaining a very similar relationship with Russia. Because whenever Soviet Russia did any form of aggression, India never used to cry foul. India would never say anything. India would keep silent. But the moment NATO countries did any sort of aggression, like the British attack on Egypt over Suez Canal, India was one of the first country to cry foul. But when a similar attack took place by Soviet Russia on Hungary, I think, India kept quiet. So all those, whatever India did at that point of time, angered the West. West was like, leave this country. And West did ignore India for the longest time possible. So India also thought, alright, it's okay. West is not there, so what? Russia is there with us. But Russia again, the entire game changed when Soviet Russia broke into independent states. Russia was like became a small country, and all the new Central Asian countries started emerging out. New independent countries started emerging out. Now, India faced a very problematic situation. The problem was what? India did not have enough foreign dollars. Obviously, there are dollars, not foreign dollars. India did not have enough dollars to purchase crude oil. How severe was the shortage? The reserves were sufficient to finance import just for 2 weeks. That means after 2 weeks, we won't be having any more dollars to purchase oil. That became the situation. The Reserve Bank of India pledged India's gold to foreign banks during the 91 crisis. Bank of England, Bank of Japan, and Union Bank of Switzerland. The 91 crisis led to bold reforms that transformed India's economy. Today, a new storm tests our resilience. We pledged the gold, we took the money, we even borrowed money from IMF, International Monetary Fund, which we returned later. Got the point? This is the history of it. Today, IMF crude oil price index recorded a 53% increase in prices after the war began. That is why I told you, even if Soviet Russia is going to give us a discount, that discounted price will be based on what is the current price, not the price what Russia used to give it to us earlier. Merchandise trade deficit reaches a record high of 333 billion in 25-26, which is 17% more than previous years. Imports soared to an all-time high of 775 billion. Exports remain the same, $442 billion. Almost the same. Because naturally, entire world is suffering right now because of this war. Will they focus on buying pashmina, not pashmina shawl, paneer or clothes coming from India or jewelry and gems coming from India? Or will they worry actually about the crude oil imports or crude oil prices or inflation that they are facing there? Obvious, every country will be focusing on the necessities rather than on luxuries. Got the point? So exports will just remain the same, but imports have gone up like anything by 17%. Foreign exchange reserves under pressure, declined by more than 21 billion since the end of February 2026. This high level drop normally doesn't happen. Normally, so much high demand is there. So this, how forex reserves actually go down is very simple. So whatever foreign currency we earn, let us say dollar, euro, pound, yen, Saudi riyal, Kuwaiti dinar, dirham, all of this goes into one big box called the forex reserves, which is managed by the RBI. How do we get these foreign currency? Well, we get this through exports. Exports, FII, loans, etc., etc. The same factors what we saw, remittances, all of that. That money goes in here. Whenever dollar demand goes up drastically, because why it goes drastically? Because of CAD. A huge current account deficit leads to high dollar demand. So how do I reduce the dollar demand? Anything that is excessive in demand, how do you reduce its value? By supplying it. So from forex reserves, I'll take a few dollars, supply it into the market, which is basically to the banks. So the moment the supply comes, what happens? Dollar value will come down slightly. Rupee therefore can have some peace. Otherwise, if you allow this to go drastically up, rupee will come crashing down. And right now, the government is trying real hard to not to break the psychological barrier. Even RSS also issued a statement telling that don't allow rupee to cross 100. RSS can make such nice statements without even taking the realities of geopolitical realities into consideration. Goes without saying, rupee will cross the 100 mark. Goes without saying. Because it's a psychological barrier, and once that crosses, that will be like when the government will have no further explanation. Because our dear Nirmala Sitharaman, finance minister, as usual, said Indian rupee is doing good. Good or bad, I don't know. But to be the devil's advocate again, even she cannot do anything when it comes to the rupee value. Not her, not the government, not even the God, not even God right now. Even if God really wants to show that God exists, means Trump should get a heart attack. And the next president, whoever it is, who should basically say that we are going to follow a policy of non-interference, only protecting American interest in American soil. Until a president of that nature comes out, this issue will continue to affect India. Clear, people? Gems and jewelry imports increased by 25%, gold imports by 24%, silver by 150%. So we actually import gems and jewelry in its raw form and we process it and then we export. So we are supposed to get money out of it, correct? But the reality is we did import gold, gems, jewelry, etc., which has increased by more than 24% or 25%. But the export part actually went down by more than 5%. Because like I told you, who will buy gems and jewelry when you are not so sure what will happen to your future? Because the other threat what India as well as every country is facing today is the threat of AI. Jobs are at risk. So nobody is making any major purchase. Everybody are in the mindset that let me enjoy my life. जब तक ये नौकरी है तब तक enjoy करेंगे. So not purchasing any assets, no houses, that, nothing, etc. Once again, I can see IT engineers, etc. investing 30 or 40 lakhs in Harley Davidson, Triumph bike, etc. Not the ones which are manufactured or assembled in India, the original ones, straight away coming from USA. The original ones that they are buying again, because it is like, okay, if job goes, bike also goes, let it go. Fine. That's the attitude now. Clear? India's export performance, merchandise exports growing nearly 14% year on year. Just a minute. Non-oil exports is going strong and steady. India's non-oil exports grew 9% to about $40 billion. What do you mean by the non-oil exports? See, crude oil, what is imported by India, that is converted into petrol, diesel, etc. That we export. Whatever is non-oil, that also grew by 9%. That means our food, our clothing, all that, textiles, all that exports have grown thanks to the various FTAs what we have signed. Export growth outpaces import growth. Import grew by 9.9%, but export grew by 14%. In other words, export sector is actually doing good. All the free trade agreements, whatever we signed, they have started showing its results. But the problem is that what we never factored in or what we never expected was Trump to go mad. Like a rabid dog, he has went and decided to create trouble for the entire world. Clear? Gold imports surged by 82%. Services sector growing share in total exports. 2014, 39%. Services sector's share in exports is 49. Exports to West Asia fell by 28%. Imports from West Asia fell by 32%. 17 new destinations were added last year. This is also the reason why I keep telling that Trump's real target is India. Trump last year slapped tariffs on us, but the tariffs did not create any dent in India's export sector because of this reason. We added 17 new destinations. So what happened? USA was our very big market for Indian products. But now for USA slapped tariff on us, 50%. So those products which we couldn't sell in USA, we started selling in other countries. Our exports actually grew. So he decided to hit us where it hurt, oil prices. It is the same detailing again, but again, gold prices, how much it has increased? It has increased by 45 to 60% last year. Like I told you, nobody would have expected this. This is also the reason why people are buying or investing more and more in gold. Because which other sector do you know where you will get 45 to 60% return in a single year? There is no other sector. In real estate or even for that matter, even in share prices, you will not get this level of return. Now I can see my friends who are actually investing into the share market, SIP, etc. They are actually telling, hey Nikhil, part of your fund, you should put it aside for gold investments now. And I am like, I used to tell the same thing to you. Now you are telling this to me. No, you should do this, blah, blah, blah. Now they are giving me advice. Gyan. Gold always used to be the safest investment point for me. Because I know for a fact that gold prices will keep on increasing. No matter what. Because Indians are crazy about gold. And you don't have that much of reserves of gold. Volumes of gold import fell only by 5%. Value of gold import increased by 24%. Foreign exchange reserves declined by 29 billion. Rupee breached 96. A year ago, it was trading at 85. Current account deficit 2.5 percentage. Higher gold and silver import duty 18.4. Petrol diesel prices hiked by 3. Compressed gas 2. OMCs oil marketing companies are currently facing around 1000 crore a day loss. Means in a month 30,000 crore. In a year 3 lakh 60,000 crore. The last topic for the day. Any doubts? Said Iftikhar Andrabi versus National Investigative Agency. Bail should remain the rule even under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act when prolonged incarceration and delayed trial violate personal liberty and speedy trial begins. Now, this is a ongoing issue where during those Delhi protests, 2 people were arrested and now they are still in jail. The trial is yet to start and they are in jail for more than a year and bail is also not being given to them. So now the matter has been referred to a higher constitutional bench. That means this topic will still continue. Let a final verdict come from Supreme Court. That time we will discuss it in detail. K. Najib case. Rigors of Section 43D5 of UAPA Act weaken when trial is unlikely to conclude within a reasonable time and custody is prolonged. Bottom line is again the same thing. That is, you have kept a person in custody for such a long time. When will the trial start? There is no idea. So shouldn't you be giving them the bail? Gulfisha Fatima ruling, narrow interpretation limiting application of KNG principle in prolonged pre-trial detention cases under the Unlawful Activities Act was disapproved. Gurvinder Singh ruling, 2 judge benches cannot depart from binding principles laid down by a larger bench. Means what? 2 judge bench means in one bench only 2 judges are sitting. They are bound by whatever rulings are given by larger bench. Larger bench means anything more than 2. It could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 7, 6, 9, whatever. Caste enumeration petition dismissal. Inclusion of caste enumeration in census is a policy matter and falls outside judicial determination. Caste being added into the census. Somebody filed a petition against it, telling that this shouldn't be done. Judiciary said that is not within our limits. That is for the executive and the legislature to decide. Hydroelectric projects in Upper Ganga matter. Court examined cumulative ecological and seismic risk of hydroelectric projects in Uttarakhand's Upper Ganga basin. But the center made it very clear, we have no intention of starting any hydroelectric projects in the Upper Ganga basin. Upper Ganga basin means from the regions where Ganga starts flowing on the tributaries. Liquor packaging and bottle definition. Lack of uniform definition of bottle and deceptive liquor packaging may endanger public health and require standardization. No clear definition, no defined standard size or anything. Stray dogs public safety ruling. Right to life and safe access to public spaces under Article 21 prevails over unrestricted occupation of public areas by stray dogs. As I have told you always, this is one of the other conspiracies that is running in our country. Always even when a bomb blast had taken place near Agra, you would have seen that video where, people are dead. But they are more worried about, there are people telling, oh my God, the poor dogs, they would have got very badly affected their ears. Oh my God, they have got so scared, Papa. All that melodrama, if you would have seen and you would have managed to stay alive like me, it clearly shows that a human being is dying, but people are more concerned about stray dogs. And why this only love for dogs? For dog lovers, the only animal on planet Earth is the dog. They are okay with every other animal being killed or brutalized, etc., etc. The reason is very simple, according to me. The reason is that dog bite, you will have to go and take a rabies vaccine. Other animals, be it monkey, be it cat, cow, buffalo, these animals, you need not be scared of it until and unless you are in their territory or they enter your home, like, which is like a rarest of rarest event. Cow and buffalo, again, very rarely. I mean, even if they attack you, probably you would break a bone or two. It is not that you have to go and take an injection. But dog is that one thing where even if they scratch you, and if it's a street dog, you have to go and take a vaccination. And rabies vaccine are not cheap. The profit margins of rabies vaccine manufacturing companies, you should see year on year. And their profit relies on what? Relies on stray dogs occupying public spaces. As simple as that. That is the reason why court basically said that from public areas they have to be removed. And we saw some lady, senior lady, I don't know, maybe she'll be in and around my age only, who knows. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. All that, melodrama again, crying as if Supreme Court ruled that all the dogs should be killed. Animal birth control compliance direction. States and union territories must establish animal birth control centers and strengthen anti-rabies infrastructure. Same thing. ABC centers. These are called animal birth control centers. Because a female dog can easily give birth at least twice or thrice in a year. And in one single sitting, it can be anywhere between 6 to 10 puppies. That means easily in a year, anywhere between 18 to 30. And those will be there. I agree, not all of them will be growing up to like adult stage or something. Many will die. But at least even if half of them survive, that is like 15 puppies at the street level. 6 months down the line, those 15 puppies are ready to bite you. Bottom line is that. Euthanasia of dangerous stray dogs ruling. Authorities may adopt legally permissible measures including euthanasia for rabid or demonstrably dangerous stray dogs. This used to happen on a regular basis earlier, not euthanasia. Euthanasia again means again injection, again chemical. Earlier, there were exclusive people whom the municipalities or panchayats used to hire. The moment they see the animals count is increasing, dogs count is increasing, they will immediately call these people. They will keep putting poison, this, that, etc. They will kill them, take them to some faraway place, dig a big pit, dump all the dogs' dead bodies there, cover it up, come back. End of the story. But then this whole animal rights, this, that, everything came thanks partly to Maneka Gandhi again. All those stopped. And that was replaced with what? The so-called ABC control. ABC control means what? You're controlling the birth, the future birth of another dog. That's it. Birth control measure, you call it. As if dogs will come in straight line, like in a military parade, they will come and they'll come there and stand. Yeah, please catch me. I'm ready to be, sterilized. And as if, again, a sterilized dog will not bite. Absolutely not. Sterilization is happening for a different part of the body. If some surgery has to be done, probably what they should do is remove all the teeth of a dog so that it will not bite. I am not against any animal. But if you ask me between a human being and an animal, what will I choose? It is always a human being first. Small babies, small kids, their face has been ripped off by dogs. Babies who are sleeping inside their own home. Stray dogs entered the home. 2-3 p.m. it was. Almost everybody in the family was sleeping. They had opened the door, which is a normal practice in many parts of India. Keep the door open. The fan will be on so that fresh air can enter, etc., etc. Dog have entered, bit the baby that was inside the cradle. As usual, it is a vaccinated dog. It is a sterilized dog. All that procedures, everything was followed. But okay, just because that dog was vaccinated, won't you take your child for vaccination, an anti-rabies vaccine shot? You will. That is why I am telling you this entire business, this entire thing, this human suffering here is not the point here. Human suffering is the cause, is the directly correlated to the profit margins of anti-rabies vaccine mafia. That's the reality. Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission appointments case. Regulatory bodies must maintain legally mandated composition including judicial members for proper functioning. Supreme Court ruled that you need to have the commission filled according to the whatever composition it is, and it should even have judicial members. Supreme Court Judges Strength Ordinance 26. Judicial strength of the Supreme Court increased to address pendency and backlog of cases, which is currently standing at 93,000. Chief Election Commissioner versus M.R. Vijay Bhaskar. Judicial institutions' binding opinion lies in written judgments and orders, not oral courtroom observations. Judges must avoid intemperate language and public comments compromising judicial dignity or neutrality. Restatement of values of judicial life. So judges should refrain from using such words which may cause lowering of dignity of the judiciary. So the whole reference of Gen Z to cockroaches and then a cockroach Janata party starting. Somebody had already asked her, what is the take on cockroach Janata party or whatever. I have already made a small video in my Instagram channel, and I'll just say the same thing what I had to say earlier. It is just temporary. Ye lamha bhi beet jayega. If you are thinking actually that this will lead to some major revolution in Indian politics, just try marrying outside your caste or religion. How are both related if you ask me? Indians ultimately live for their caste, live for their religion. In Mumbai again, 2 women removed the sari of another woman. Mumbai. Why? Because somebody from this female who was disrobed from her family drank water from a public pipe or tank or water or something which was associated with a temple. For that reason, in a city like Mumbai, economic capital of India, so Cockroach Janata Party, if they are actually thinking with their so-called so many million followers, etc., if they are actually expecting some revolution to happen in Indian politics, I would suggest that is the sort of optimism that we all need in our life. I mean, haven't you seen many a times Instagram influencers with millions of followers, they will say meeting the fans. They will say some meet my fans or something. They will create, okay, I will be here on this venue. Please come and meet me, blah, blah, blah. And not even one single person will turn up. It's the same scenario. Indian politics will not change overnight until and unless basic Indian behavior changes. And basic Indian behavior relies on caste, religion, the rest comes later. Everything comes later. You want the evidence for it? Look at what happened with NEET exam. What did the opposition do? What did the ruling party do? The only sensible thing to do at this point of time was fire the education minister, forcing the education minister to resign. Did the ruling party do that? Already, within the same tenure of this current government, SSC leak had happened. Correct? SSC leak had happened just a couple of years ago. Within the last 1 or 2 years, I think. What did the opposition do? Again, under the same NTA, another leak is happening. What did the opposition do? Any other opposition party would have probably used this opportunity to unleash the fury of the youth and ensure that use it as a political mileage. What is the opposition doing? What are the people doing? Did the youth actually come to the street? SSC is given by the youngsters. NEET is given by youngsters. How many of them actually came out on the road to protest against it? We have accepted it as a way of life. In fact, SSC paper got cancelled and a re-exam was given in the paper which I wrote, 2017. Then an SSC paper leak under the new NTA. Now a NEET paper leak again under NTA. What happened? These are just temporary, cathartic release. Some sort of orgasm people are getting. Yes, kuch hum karenge abhi, kuch hum karenge. Online mein. Not that they are actually going to revolutionize or change anything. They won't change anything. Even now they will apply from the, boy looking for so Hindu -- boy looking for white educated girl with very good family and religious values. मतलब क्या है? मतलब इतना है, they want a working girl, but she shouldn't work after marriage. Very religious and family values girl means mother-in-law का पैर दबाओ, फादर इन लॉ का मालिश करो, ये सब करो, करने के लिए तैयार होना चाहिए. Even if you're a doctor, even if you're an engineer, or even if you're a civil servant, if you're really lucky, those basic behaviors won't change. Dowry won't change. And these same people, if they start a political party, you think overnight a change will happen. And Indian voters are easily swayed by what? Caste, religion, freebies, personality cult. Personality cult matters here. One individual, they place their complete trust on that individual and they will vote. So somebody had answered, Vijay also won the election in Tamil Nadu through campaigning only. Don't underestimate the cockroach Janata Party. Even we can also do many things. Vijay did not win just because of digital campaigning or whatever he started in the last 6-7 months. He has built his reputation over the last 20 years. And in the last 10 years, if you look at the movies that he have carefully, the scripts what he have picked up, every movie script, if you see, has discussed an important social issue, which was each time he had talked directly to the camera. Directly to the camera means he was directly addressing the crowd there. And that is how he built his thing. With each audio launch, he had given speeches which were basically telling that I will not, if I come as a chief minister, I will not act as a chief minister. I will behave like a chief minister. This is what he said. I will do acting only in the movies. I will not act as a chief minister if I become the chief minister. So he had made it very, very clear. And this sort of a movement, this has happened before. When I was in college, some youngsters had started some new political party in Chennai. Youngsters wearing all shorts, etc. We are trying to bring a change in Indian politics, blah, blah, blah. Later, I never heard of them. Then there was this very famous Anna Hazare movement. In Times Now, he was once the cover of Times Now that year. I think 2000, just before that whole 2G spectrum, everything. He was in the Times cover. The very next year, he was nowhere there in the Times list of 100 most influential people in the world. That is even before social media. So my friends, etc., were working in IT sector. They also, to support Anna Hazare movement, they all made this human chain in Bangalore, Mumbai, Hyderabad, everywhere. Human chain. Anna Hazare movement. Yes, we are also going to support. That's it. Sonu Nigam traveled all the way to Delhi to go and touch Anna Hazare's face. Wow, kya baat hui. Amir Khan came. Where is he now? That's it. So have your cathartic release is what I would say. Expecting some change to happen. Average Indian will never let go of his caste, will never let go of his religion. He is okay staying in an absolutely dangerous house which can collapse any minute. He is absolutely okay with going to a hospital which is infested with rats where probably his newborn child will get killed. He is absolutely okay with drainage pipe water leaking into a drinking water pipeline where his child may get killed again. He is okay with that too. He is also okay with the fact that his child has to write an exam again. He is okay with that, but he will come to the street the moment religion or caste gets threatened. That's your average Indian. All right. So this is again international cases again. Just read it. For your information it is. Just read it. Don't by heart. Don't ratta. All right. That's it, people. Any further questions? Now let us open the YouTube comments. After completion of polity and geography, which one should I start? Economy or history? Start with history. Look here, please. Stacy Kiske. Not offline, online. Prarambh online you can join. We are sorry, sir. For what? You need not apologize, Daisy. There are other dash and dash. Inspire, I already answered that question. I don't want anybody's apologies. Most of your comments and your apologies are as unwarranted and unsolicited as it can get. So I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything else to say. I know this won't be the end of it. This won't be the beginning of it also. So let it be. I'm always concerned about the paid batch, the people who have spent their money and who value their time. That is the reason. That is the reason you should never give any free lunch. You know, in Taj, Hilton, or any hotel for that matter, every day some 50 kilo worth food is actually dumped. They don't give it outside to some poor people. They don't give it because the day you start giving it to the poor, when the man who can afford to pay, even he will come and stand there because he knows our nighttime food from Taj will come for free. Got the point? So never, you want to ensure that you are valued, keep a price for it. Remember that always. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. My only regret is it is not an offline class. I would have unleashed my wrath. Is that McGraw Hill good for having fundamental knowledge in GS? Which subject are you talking about, Saturn? Note making takes a lot of time. Any tips? You're talking about note making of subject means you have to make it. You have to make it. There are no tips for it. You have to make lengthy notes if it is a subject related thing. For current affair related notes, I've always told you, write the PYQs topic wise. Just update the answer when you write, update it with the latest content and latest data. Adnan Mushtaq, if you have an issue, just put it up. How can we meet you for offline lectures? I take offline classes at PW only IS Bangalore, Polity and Governance. Tell about which magazine book should I refer? Pundalinganur, you can refer any magazine from any academy. 90% of the content is going to be the same. Is preparing for UPSC hard? Preparing for UPSC is not hard. It is about staying disciplined and consistent. That is what matters. Which material can I follow for science and tech? Science and tech, it is basic NCERT and current affairs. Like whatever topics we saw here, you can clearly see in that fungal discussion came, DNA discussion came, PCOS, PMOS, all those topics came, satellites came. You have to keep going through it. Other than that, nothing else is there. Please don't stop these classes till 27. Can't guarantee. If Yamraj comes and calls me, I'll have to go. Time management is a big issue. That will be there. That is natural. Try to ensure that you don't create any backlogs and compensate for your backlogs on a Sunday or an off day. That's all that you can do. Don't worry about answer writing and attending the prelims practice or mock questions in the initial days of your preparation. Initial days, your only job is, priority is taking down the notes. Write down the notes. You get the PDF content also, write it down. That's the priority. After writing everything down, if you have the time, then go for DMP, whatever it is. Ideally, if you ask me these days, you really need 1 year just to take down the notes and another year actually to practice your mains practice questions. That is why Prarambh English becomes the perfect batch for all those of you who are completed their 12th and just entering college. That's a perfect thing that you can take up. Drinking lot of water in a day, 3 to 4, it is okay. Do you teach any batches in BW? Titan, Pinnacle, Prarambh English? Please come. Bihar, Muzaffarpur, only IS branch. No idea. That is not in my hands. Lectures of history and geography. Like, okay. What do you want me to do about that? Give for maths for CGL, can tell me, sir, because I was prepare UPSC, sir. Together you are planning to do, it will be a little tough. Either put UPSC on hold for now and practice fully maths, because maths at least you should do 2 to 3 mocks a day and then find out where you are going wrong, which concepts you are not able to understand, sit and revise it properly. That is what I would suggest. If you have attempts in UPSC, put UPSC on hold and focus on SSC CGL. But when you focus on SSC CGL, give railways exam, banking exam, RBI grade B exam, RRB, regional rural bank exam, all those exams, LDC, UDC, your state level, whatever is there, give all the exams possible. I don't know Telugu. Suchit Pandey, if you finish your 12th and once you join your college, take up Prarambh English. Which faculty to watch from lectures of geography and history? If you have taken a batch, you can watch it from the class itself. From YouTube, I have no idea which faculty is good. NCRT versus UPSC Wala books. NCRT you have to read first for a basic level understanding. But if your faculty has already told that you need to stick only to my notes, say for example, polity and governance, when I take, I basically say stick to my notes because it will contain what is there in Lakshmikant. It will also contain information which is not there in Lakshmikant. Because current affairs is, if you look at it, Supreme Court rulings, many changes are happening faster than Lakshmikant can update his book. So my notes will be covering it. So that is why I only tell them, okay, stick to my notes. If I say, okay, only read 2 or 3 chapters from Lakshmikant, stick to my notes, current affairs, khatam. That's it. So you will have to depend on your faculty for that information. Have you cleared UPSC? No, I have not cleared UPSC. I've only gone till the interview. What are the backup idea from humanities background if I'm done with UPSC at last? Backup for humanities, I have no major idea, to be very honest. With humanities background, you can try what subjects are there. If you have picked up economics or something, means try giving Indian Economic Service. See, any which way you will have to give a competitive exam if it is not UPSC. Or you should take up some degree where it is valuable. In the current market, it is cyber security or cyber related, AI related. Those are the courses which are having demand in private sector. Yeah, I was shocked. I was secretly rooting for him. Secretly, I wanted him to win. I don't know why, but I somewhere wanted him to win. I know AIDMK was finished. DMK, I don't want to express any opinion publicly about it. TVK, somewhere I wanted him to win. And going by the looks of it's the initial days. I know it's too quick to judge, but at least I think he has got his affairs in order. Why have you changed back to blazer look again, sir? Because I have come to Noida. Are you against DMK? I have nothing against any political party. It is a dynasty politics it is, ultimately. Keep talking, Ujja Valit Raj. Keep speaking the language. I answered that question already. After 12th, join a college and then take up Prarambh English. BSc Horticulture, you can join food processing industry, man. फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री में आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. बीएससी हॉर्टिकल्चर ले लो, एमएससी भी कर लो, फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री ज्वाइन कर लो. Go for QET. '11th standard, too young. Just attend the current affairs. Focus on your 11th and 12th, score good marks. What about graduating students? You can go for Titan or Pinnacle batch if you're comfortable with the English language. Otherwise, we have Prahar and Sankal batches also. You can go look for that. Pinnacle 2028 batch. Pinnacle 2028. I'm not sure when will it start, when I have no idea. UPSC after NEET. Yeah, after NEET you can go. History, geography, political science. Geography, if you're taking up, you can try this oceanography, geomorphology related, earth sciences related fields. There are courses for that also. Just Google and find it out. Thank you. Geo for, I already answered that. I am CSC 25, civils, computer science engineering 25 passed out student. From past 1 year, I'm unemployed. Suggest me what to do. Apply everywhere again and try building your knowledge in AI, machine learning, data learning. Try doing some courses in it. Market, who is that? Varsha Bharadwaj. Varsha, only thing what you can do there is market in the atlas. Keep reading it. Audio record it if possible. Record your voice and keep playing it. Then you will know. Because all these places are not so easy to pronounce and not easy to remember. These are not things or places which we hear regularly. But you can easily get a match the following in your prelims. So if you're at least familiar with it, you'll be able to mark it. For prelims, it's familiarization. That's more than sufficient. Success rate in UPSC is less than 1%. That is a success rate even in life. Science commerce stream is there. Forcefully parents in commerce stream after 12th gave QET in humanities. You should have given QET in commerce itself. If I want to give my English exam in English, so should I take English batch or English batch? Lok, I would suggest you to take the English batch itself. Go for English. Because wherever fire factories, if you're having cracker industry, it is bound to catch fire. It's as simple as that. तो फिर आप और कुछ कर लीजिए आपकी जिंदगी के साथ. UPSC is not the only field, right? See, 99% people fail in UPSC. Doesn't mean that all those people are buddhus. जो हारते हैं वो लोग उल्लू नहीं है. समझ लो. Those 99% also will end up somewhere because you will end up learning consistency, you will end up learning discipline, you will even end up learning how to pick yourself up. खुद ब खुद कैसे उठकर आए. क्योंकि यूपीएससी में जो हारते हैं ना, उन्हें हर कोई इतना नसीब वाला नहीं है जहां पर पेरेंट्स परिवार आकर उन्हें संभाले या फिर उन्हें उठाए या दोस्त लोग रहेंगे कोई होंगे उनके लिए. ऐसा नहीं है. खुद उठना पड़ता है. जो भी मिट्टी है हटाना पड़ता है. जो भी आंसू है खुद पहुंचना पड़ता है. खून भी अगर है तो उसका दवाई लगाना पड़ता है. खुद ब खुद सारा काम करना पड़ता है. सो जो ऐसे खुद ब खुद सब कुछ कर कर जो आगे आता है ना, उसका कोई कुछ नुकसान नहीं कर सकता. That's the point. That will be their attitude. It is not necessary that they are having bulging biceps, they are 10 foot tall or something. They will be like, bring it on, brother. I am standing right here. UPSC कुछ नहीं किया मेरा, तू क्या करोगे? That will be their attitude. സൂര്യ PM. എന്താ മോനെ മലയാളത്തിൽ എന്താ നിനക്ക് അറിയേണ്ടത്? പറ, നമുക്ക് തീരുമാനം ഉണ്ടാക്കാം. Nobody can motivate you. You have to motivate yourself, or rather motivation is such a overused word. Something like true love. Instead, you sit and study properly. Put a timetable and start studying. If you study, good for you. Otherwise, nobody will be there with you. Trust me. People only want to be associated with those people who can take care of themselves. That is the bottom line. A woman would prefer a man to take care of her. A father and mother also would prefer a son who will take care of things. That is the bottom line. Why it's a what about daughter? This is India, man. It's a patriarchal society. Understand. Everybody loves a guy who takes care of himself. It's as simple as that. So take care of yourself. That's it. I don't know Hindi. Good. Can you talk in Kannada words? ಹೇಳಿಪ್ಪ, ಊಟ ಆಯ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಮದು? ನಮ್ದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದೆ. ಏನಾದರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾದರೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ. एक मोटिवेशन कोट दो, मोटिवेशन कोट. I know, sounds a little cringe and maybe a little filmy, but this is what it is. Face your fears. Some danger is coming towards you and everybody is running away from it. Run towards it. Run towards it. Hit it where it hurts. That's it. Nothing else is there to do. Why is that tax terrorism in our country? Sandy decodes both the questions are entirely different. Why FIIs are going out of the country, that I already told you. And on what basis are you telling that there is tax terrorism in the country? That is again you more or less a social media fad it is. There is no tax terrorism. Tax is being taken for various purposes which we are supposed to be paying. As simple as that. Swarnil Bar, if you start looking at if you start throwing stones at every dog that is barking, you will find that the number of dogs who are barking will only increase. Got the point here? So the only thing to do is when you know dogs are barking, I don't know how many of you have experienced it. So dogs basically bark when you are in their territory. So the moment you come out of that territory, they will stop. Then they will turn away and then they will go behind the next person who have entered their territory. So you are also being ridiculed by your family, relatives, because currently you are doing something which is affecting their ego. So the moment you move out from it, where you rise up to such levels where they know that okay, अब इससे बोलकर कोई फायदा नहीं है, they will let you go. Otherwise also people will speak, let them speak. Who cares? I keep learning any language wherever I go. In fact, when I went to Hyderabad, I couldn't learn it because in Hyderabad, people are really comfortable with Hindi. So wherever you go, you can use Hindi and you can still survive. Whereas in Bangalore or in Chennai or in any other place, you need to know the local language there. Whereas in Hyderabad, where I went, everywhere, Hindi was easily being accepted. What to do if everyone is opposite to you, even your life too? ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. Good, if everyone is opposite to you, good. You already know that you cannot depend on anybody, you have to depend only on yourself. The quicker you learn this lesson, the faster you mature. True. Picha Pillai, if you have joined the Pinnacle batch, just follow the class, attend the class. That is your schedule. How? Varsha, proud of your honest reaction. But just accept the fact that your parents are human beings. Don't consider them as gods. I know some people will now start being, sir, Mata Pita Dev, Bhagwan hi hote hai. Nahi, insaan hai. They are human beings with all sorts of weaknesses, with all sorts of limitations, just like you and me. So accept that first. Accept that they are also having they can also make mistakes. They also have limitations. They also have stereotyping, prejudices, etc., which will never sit right with your sensibilities. So the moment you accept that, things becomes very, very easier. Good. Re-NEET. What will I say? Failure of the system, failure of the people, failure of the government, failure of the opposition, the entire gamut. You are trying to do something different. So obviously the parents, it is not within what their sensibilities. Whatever you are trying to say does not rest with their sensibilities. You are trying to actually educate those people who are already after 40. Trying to change a person after 40 is very, very difficult. Like trying to change me, make me more friendly, smile. It's going to be difficult. That is not going to happen. So it is better not to try. Don't even try resisting it. Accept it for what it is. This is how they will talk. This is how they will react. The moment you accept it, it becomes easier. I shapat. Politics system in India, please answer. As in? I have no idea how long it will take to recover from typhoid. Whenever I open LinkedIn, I feel very behind in life. Shanaya, you open anything, you will feel behind in life. There are faculties here who have earned more than me, who have settled more than me, who are driving very luxurious cars more than me. If I start looking at all of that, I am also going to go into depression. But if I actually look at from where I came and where I am today, I am very, very happy. There was a point in my life where I had decided to take my life, commit suicide. But if I look at where I'm standing right now, I would be very surprised. That is 2018, I think I had planned to do it. And today is 2026. So 2018 wale Nikhil say, if somebody would have gone and told him, in another 8 years you will get married, you will be father to a baby boy, 2-year-old kid, you will have your own home, you will have your own car, and you wouldn't have taken 1 rupee from your parents to buy any of this, I would have probably killed that person. I wouldn't have believed it. So what I understand today is work hard, be honest with yourself, be honest with your work, you will be rewarded. Eventually, at least. And all these things, gadi, ghar, shadi, bacha, it will happen just like that. You don't have to overly exert over it. Overly exert if you have to do, it's on your physical body and mental health. Just focus on that, the rest will follow. If someone tell you are God, what will you say? Sasta nasha liya kahan se? That is what I will say. What is the biggest revenge to ex-girlfriend? If you had truly loved a person, how will you take revenge against them, brother? If you have truly loved somebody, you will always have a silent prayer for them. Wherever she is, let her be happy. Wow, you will feel happy if she is suffering in life. Seriously. Then you are never in love with her. So why are you worried now? You don't have to be IS to bring any change in society. You just wake up in the morning and, fold your bed sheet. That is the best change that you can do. I became too much philosophical. If you have become too much philosophical, the only thing you need to check out is who has bought your underwear. Is it your own money or is it your father's money? If it is your father's money, means start earning money. You will become a realist, not a philosophist. No, RBI grade B class is not possible because I am held up with work like anything. Shazia, Afreen, that is not, I don't know. I don't have any idea about government's policies. Join a college and then see what you can do. Other than that, which state are you from? The state of Kerala, currently settled in Bangalore. Have you ever cried? Oh, yeah. Weird questions are coming in. It's the same questions. Okay, spammers are back. All right, people, let's call it a day. Good night. Take care.